straight into the scene because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is I am him, the one and only Steel Rain, and I'm here locked in, tuned in with one of the most amazing gentlemen, the uncanny man himself. You know, the guys over there in the Magnificent Seven like to say that he's the encyclopedia of gaming, but I like to call him a brother from another. My bro, Pong Steel. What's going on, my guy?
Look, the gods are conspiring against us, but yet here we are, Steel, my brother from another, Living SplitScreen, episode 20. My God, man, what a morning. It's been a hell of a week, and we are back on Saturday. It is great to see your face again, because, hey, you know what? Let's pull back the curtain a little bit here.
Let's go. Let's talk about it.
For the benefit of the chat, right? I want you guys in chat and anybody who listens to this in the future, okay, to remember this. Okay, so whenever Steel may bring up something down in the future, let's say a year from now when Starfield comes out, we can all remind him of this time frame. I have lost my brother Steel to an addiction.
Oh, he's starting with this.
I have lost Steel Rain.
Oh man,
that addiction that has gripped many in this gaming community.
Oh goodness,
has gripped many a big personality in this gaming community. In fact, has taken over their lives so much that they've lamented on Twitter about how they are trying to escape its grasp. There needs to be some intervention, people.
Oh, because man,
I've lost my brother Steel Rain.
What you lose me to, man?
To Destiny 2. And this is a sad moment in my life. And I may need help, people, to recover, to get him back in my life, because
lost me. Oh
man, this guy has disappeared off the face of the planet. And
okay, talk to him.
I'm just glad he's here. Let's put it that way. I'm just glad he showed up. Although he said he didn't have his alarm this morning, but
I didn't. I
think that actually Destiny 2 was still on, and I think he was still playing it, and I think he was actually considering whether or not he wanted to do the show today or play Destiny 2. I think that's where he was at, and he was fighting with himself. So again, a year from now,
you stupid,
when Starfield comes out and Steel comes on here on episode, whatever that's going to be, 40 something, and he starts complaining how he hasn't seen Pong around. He hasn't been able to play with Pong.
Yeah.
We're all going to remind him of this time. Okay. So just, I want to throw that out there for everybody, because it's been a sad week, man. It's been a real sad week without my brother Steel being around.
Oh man.
And I'm afraid I may not see him again at one point. So anyways.
Well, I'll definitely talk about that, because I have some interesting things to say about that. But I like the way you take it there, man. I like that a lot. I wasn't expecting that. They really threw me for a loop, and that's how we're gonna start the show. I like the energy that I'm already getting.
This whole morning has been thrown for a loop. So
that is a fact.
I thought I might as well just keep it going. But no, anyways, it's great to be here. Episode 20s. Chat, awesome to see you all here this morning, of course. Long week. I was not on socials at all. I missed a ton of the news. I've been trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Real life, work is just killing me. And just been busy with some other stuff behind the scenes, and just mentally exhausted. So this is kind of like a vacation for me, a mini vacation, to come here and talk with you, brother Steel, the one and only, the hype man that drives this show every single week. So I'm glad to be here. Look, we had a lot of good stuff come out this week. Again, another big, strong week. Hades. I jumped into, I took a quick, short jaunt to New Zealand and played some Hades the first night it was out before I went to bed.
Okay.
And then got some action in there. Got some thoughts on that I'm sure we can hit up.
Okay.
And of course, Codemasters, now a part of EA, dropping all their games in. You know what? I really never had a chance to play Grid. I never got on the Grid train at all.
Good game.
It's a good game. I actually really having a good time with it, man.
Really good.
Yeah, I was impressed. I mean, I was more impressed than I thought I would be. So, just stuff like that, man. I've, again, been gaming, but trying to get to bed early because, again, this work thing is just
man.
absolutely killing me, man. So, but hey, Steel, other than your addiction, other than getting back on that D2 crack that you are currently on, and obviously you got real life stuff going on too, man. How was your week? Because I haven't talked to you at all because you've been gone, man.
We haven't. I mean, that doesn't mean I haven't been available though. No. But yeah, man, it's been another interesting week, man. I mean, again, going through training and whatnot with the new work. It's been like a cram-filled session every day. You know what I mean? Taking in new knowledge, taking in new information on a day-to-day basis, and applying it to the new job, man, and just trying to make sure they're understanding and everything. I've been seeing 108 throwing little hints out there about Battlefield 2042 because he's got some access to it. I'm kind of salty
Watch
about that.
NDA.
There goes that. But I've been seeing some things in the streets where people were saying there's been some interesting things going on in the background. Back for Blood came out for the open beta this week. Again, like I told y'all last week, I don't really have interest in it, but seeing more people really jump into it has been something that's exciting. I actually talked to my little brother about it because he's the main reason why I actually jumped back into D2. So I can go ahead and tell that story. Just to start off the show, man, because you know how we do it. It's been one of those
pusher. Your brother's a pusher. That's all he is.
He definitely slung it to me. So I guess I'll start by saying, for those who are interested, I come to y'all week by week and I give you guys gameplay of recent games that I've been playing. Whatever I might have been playing the week before is usually what I come to y'all on Saturday with, right? So I'll tell y'all this. A couple weeks ago, my brother hits me up and was like, yo, this dude in this clan that I'm with, I used to play the game with, or whatever the case might be, invited me to a squad, invited me to this clan or whatever. I was like, oh, word, that's what's up. He was like, yeah, man, they play PvP. I was like, oh, word. I was like, okay, well, you talking my language. I like PvP, and I like Destiny PvP, just because it's the best first-person shooter that's out, other than when Halo comes out. You know what I'm saying? So, was able to. Basically, I'm not gonna say I was able to, but I got roped back into the whole Destiny life, right? But I've been mainly playing PvP, so I've been leveling up through all PvP, and I've just been having a good time with it. What's more so exciting for me is because as a competitive guy who likes to play multiplayer games at a competitive level, I care about my KD, quote unquote, and such. Not as much as I used to, but as somebody who is like that, getting back into it has been an exciting thing because someone who took like a 2-year hiatus damn near from Destiny, I'll jump in every now and then, maybe do a mission or two, to now like pretty much playing consecutively for the last 2 weeks. It's kind of really opened my eyes because it's like there's people that I'm playing with that have played day by day by day, and I'm somebody who's just 2 weeks back into it, still rocking people's socks off, giving them the boot. You know what I mean? And really giving people the work in ways that just shouldn't be happening when there's people who play this every day. But that's just my feeling. If I get too deep down that road, some people might get emotional, might start feeling some type of way. But y'all take it how y'all want to take it. Probably going to end up playing some more later. Who knows? I know Lucas, shout out to the Ash one, has been talking about linking up in the PvP. So, I've been trying to get fly, you know what I mean? It's one of those games where Pong knows how I care about my looks, man. My Guardian's looking good. I got the lion gear on, got the mane around the neck. You know what I mean? I got the red armor. I was looking good, man. So when you're looking good, when you feel good, no, how the saying goes. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. When you play good, you get paid good. I'm just saying.
Nobody is ever going to accuse you, brother, of being lacking of confidence. That's all I got to say, man. You are off the charts. That's crazy, dude. No, I'm glad you're having a good time with it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it's all about. So
yeah.
I know how you are with multiplayer and PvP, especially. You get those juices flowing. That is your jam, man.
And that ball gets rolling, man. And I can't help it. It's one of those things. I was telling Pong, I believe that was last week too, before we did the show, that I was like on this Halo kick. I was like on this Halo fix. Like after Halo, like the beta was taken away, I was like, dude, I don't know what else the fuck I want to play right now. Like, I just want to play Halo. And Battlefield isn't out, so it's like I can't play Battlefield either. So it's like I gotta play the other king that's really gonna pull me in and get me to really commit my time. So I've been in that, man, really enjoying it. So that's what's up on here. Some competitive gameplay to start the night with. Actually, we start your morning with, but it started my night yesterday with some competitive gameplay. Shout out to Xbot 448 jumping in. You jumped in with me and the bro, and also K Mega, who ended up jumping in later. Shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? We just went in there, had a good time, didn't take everything completely serious, and it was cool. It was cool, man. Other than that, I haven't had a chance to jump into Hades yet. It's been something that I have downloaded on the console.
Yep.
And I really want to jump into, man. Again, Death's Door gave me this kick to where I really want to play those top-down games, especially those indie-style games or the roguelike games. And that's something that I'm really intrigued into now. And with Hades being that top of the echelon from what everybody has said, it doesn't do anything but excite me. So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to jump in at some point. Again, there's going to be another one from everything that I've been seeing over the last year at least. Especially after playing Death's Door now, it's kind of like, okay, I'm really interested to see where that's going to take me, and to hear and to know that if it's all voiced and everything, and they got a good story, and has a good gameplay loop. Again, is an exciting thing. I did jump into Art of Rally. I jumped in Art of Rally enough to decide that it is not for me.
Nope, fair enough.
It's not for me. It is what it is. I'm more of the Forza guy. I don't know if it's because I probably just didn't give Art of Rally really a run. I played it for an hour, and it was just annoying the fuck out of me. Yeah. And I didn't have the patience at the time to be like, okay, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I'm still sliding way off the map. Like, I was like, oh my God. But it just probably more so was a patience thing. And then it was like, I'd rather, because of timing and everything, man, timing is such a big thing. Like, I hate when people talk about, especially in our space, talk about gaming like everybody has all the time in the world, and then not realizing that people have lives outside of this. So it's like when you go throughout the week, you're working and everything else, and you hop on the game, you get your sessions in. It's like, damn, man, I'm not really trying to be frustrated, and it wasn't worth it enough. It's not Forza to me to be like, okay, let me take whatever X amount of time to really jump in here and play. I'd rather play something else, like Hades, for example. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the trade-offs I make on a day-to-day basis as a gamer. But that's why I also always say you have to be confident in who you are as a gamer, know what you stand for, what you don't stand for. And if something isn't for you, then it's not for you. Nothing against it. Because I saw people having a wonderful time with it. And that's what's up, because that's what this is about. But other than that, man, it's been a good week. So, well, at least as good of a week as it can be, other than being out of the loop and trying to get adjusted to everything still. And like you said, man, it's like when you're working, you got life going on, you're trying to deal with personal things too, you're internalizing different things. You're still trying to push throughout the week. And I know, again, like you always say, Saturday is one of those times where you can just come on here, we vent to each other, talk about games, and just have a good time. We always come out of here, every show that we have, revitalized. And I can't do nothing but appreciate the people who come here week by week to come out and hang with us, to hear our opinions and everything, man. It's so amazing to me that the people that just continue to come out, man. So just a shout out to people real quick. I also want to shout out to the midweek mix-up collective, because I feel like that is something that I more importantly want to make sure that I start doing, just because we were asked to be part of it, man. And I don't want Dutch to think that we don't value, the thoughts and everything else, because he didn't have to come to us and say, yo, I like what you're doing, love what you're doing. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I don't have to do nothing different. And that's an amazing thing. Shout out to Dutch and the boys over there. Amazing people. Shout out to everybody across the ocean from us, all our UK people, all the people in Europe, anywhere from you're listening to. Seems like at least when I check Anchor and whatnot, we pulling people from different angles. You know what I mean? So And that's an amazing thing. We got some European folks, we got some Jamaican folks, we got, we're reaching people, man, and that's what's important. I know we're still small, we're still growing. We're over 256 subs, I think, on that road to
like
300,
265,
something like that.
Yeah.
We're on that road to 300, and I always like to say, step that road up, step by step. So that's an exciting thing. But here's a shout out some of y'all in the chat real quick that are here. If I happen to miss you, just hit me up in the chat and say, yo, Steel, you missed me. Pong, shout me out. And I'll be like, look, there you go. But yo, real quickly, shout out to Dragonheart Yobi, Six Slayer, Fat Boy Horror, 108 the Dragon. Shout out to you.
Lemon, let's go.
Mass Erect, what's going on, my guy?
Hell yeah.
It's Timmy. What's going on, man? Marion the Mad, Fat Boy Horror. I feel like I said your name already. Casket Repair. We already know what's good, my guy. Rescue Squad Culp. What's going on? Her Talk Vin. I love to see you here, man. Matt Barnes. We like to always love when you come through. Mike Suko. What's going on, my guy? Who else we got in here? Double Barrel Gaming himself was in here. He's probably tuned in listening, making breakfast. Shout out to you, Boom. What else we got? Black Card 1 was in here hanging out, giving us a shout out. Say what's popping, guys. Other than that, man, Fuzzy Belvedere's in the house.
Brother Fuzzy's in the house.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So man, love to seeing y'all here. Hey, this is gonna be one of those episodes. To be completely honest with you guys, I mean, of course, we're always going to be authentic, organic, and off the top of the dome. This one is definitely going to be that, take it to the next level. But we definitely want y'all's cooperation in the chat, man. Holla at us if you got some of the things that we want to talk about. Let's talk about them. But
yeah,
what we're gonna do, Paul, man. If you like it so far, it's something that I brought up in the background. But we'll talk about the upcoming games first. Just to get that out of the way so we can talk to the people. And then, because it's something that nobody else does, right? Nobody else is talking about what's coming out. Nobody's talking about the upcoming games. Nobody's bringing attention to it. None of no other show that you go to, they're not talking about these things. And it's something that's important to us, even though you don't have to play everything. But I want people to at least know. I want you to be able to come here and be like, oh man, what's coming out next week? And you come to Living SplitScreen and you'll know what comes out this next week. You know what I mean? So you can be ready for it. So you can set those funds to the side for it, right? Not everybody can just pull it out of their ass, maybe. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You got to be ready. You got to be prepared. If I tell you a week early, you are prepared. But no. With that being said, and then after that, I have an interesting question that I actually was I posed to my brother during the week. And actually that was like 2 days ago, so like about Thursday, was a question that I posed to him, and I actually want to bring it to the chat, man. I asked Pong in the background. He said he had some interesting choices, but he might have to go the basic route. He doesn't know yet. But
I have no idea. Well, you should probably throw that question out there so everybody in chat can start thinking about it.
Bet. I'll do that.
So we can have some answers while when we get to ours, which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to come up with 5. Jesus, man.
Hey man,
Anyways, you throw that question out there. It's just top of the dome, man. Just top of the dome. But real quick before we get to the upcoming games, this is going to be the question. Then we'll roll right into it, kind of like an icebreaker. Just something to talk about in the early beginnings of the show before we start talking about some of the other things that we want to put our minds on, like the GTA, the stuff said about Phil Spencer. Not wanting games like PlayStation makes or Nintendo makes. And all right, what else we had on the regime? And ID at Xbox showcase.
You got the ID at Xbox showcase that's up there. The GTA remaster debacles, depending on how I got some interesting things to say about that. Probably some hate, maybe some love, who knows? And we'll go from there, man. But to start it off, I want you guys to really think about this question right here. Are you guys ready? The question is, if you had to get your top 5 gaming characters of all time tatted, because I'm planning on getting 2 different tattoos. I want to get 5 characters on my left arm, and I want to get 5 characters on my right arm. One for gaming, one for my anime comic book kind of setup. And they're going to be like different scenes or whatever on my forearm. But I posed the question: if you had to get a tattoo of your top 5 gaming characters of all time, these are people you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. So really think about it. You know what I mean? Really put some thought into this one. top 5 gaming characters of all time that you would have to get tatted, who would they be? And the way that I'm looking at it has to be something that's important to you. It has to, like, I always looked at tattoos like they have to have meaning. Like every tattoo that I have up to this point has meaning. Like there's a reason that I got it. It wasn't just, oh, I thought it was cool. No, I got it because it means something to me personally. I don't get tats just cause, you know, I'm not one of those, you know what I mean? Tats are cool and all, but I just don't, you're living with it for the rest of your life. I want to be able to look at it and I'm like,
Agreed.
I still love it the same way that I loved it the first time that I did it. That's something that's important to me. But with that being said, Pong,
yeah,
if you're ready, do you want to? You ready to get into these upcoming games, man, or you want to talk to the people real quick?
Yeah, I want to talk to the people real quick because I think we got a couple of games to cover that came out already, and you started, and I alluded to a couple, but we did finish the Ascent, Steel.
We did finish the Ascent.
We did finish the Ascent.
We didn't tell the people that, didn't we? Did we do that last?
No, that was after. That was after. Remember we played
did.
last weekend.
Okay,
before
facts.
you went back to your addiction.
Let's
right?
talk about that.
So when you were actually still around, willing to play games with people, right? So other than your brother and your clan now. See, that's how this
I can't help that.
But we did beat the Ascent and we pushed through the issues that we brought up previously.
Yes.
And again, the game, I mean, Steel and I think I could speak for Steel on this because I think we're pretty much in agreement. I think that we would give this game somewhere around a 7.5 the way it stands right now.
Yeah.
I think with some fixes, this game could definitely get up into the 8s for myself, for sure. I think the game overall is very good. I think, you know, we're not going to have any spoilers for anybody who has not finished it yet. You know, I'm not even going to say, I don't think we should even talk about the end because I think that kind of, it's as far as a feeling goes, it's kind of a spoiler in itself. You know what I'm saying? It's for anybody who hasn't finished it. But I'm just going to say this team has a ton of talent. And this team definitely is an up and coming team. And I hope they get the chance to revisit this world again with a bigger budget and more time and more team members. Because I think they've got something special here. I don't know if you saw, Steel, did you see somebody actually, I forget what it was. They used a tool for Unreal. And they actually put that game in first person.
Yes, bro. I was like, yo, this looks better than Cyberpunk did,
bro. And to some degree, it's a different style, but yes, to some degree, the atmosphere is almost more Cyberpunk than Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Ways.
Yeah,
but I was so impressed with the details that they put into everything in the world, even though it's a top-down view. Like you can get away and again, I'm not a developer, but I've been around games long enough that there are shortcuts that developers can take depending upon the view that they're using. They don't have to go in and go ahead and get as detailed down to the nitty gritty as you would in a real first-person shooter, right? Where people are going to be looking at all these different angles and all these different, you know, all these different little things in the world. You're not going to see all that. But when this person used that tool and actually made it into that view and walked around the city, the character details were still impressive. Going into the store, they had the packaging on some of the items. They had like actual written words. Like you could see, like they had gone down to the nitty gritty with this game. It almost makes you wonder if this game started out as a first person and then they decided to go to a twin stick shooter. It'd be interesting to know if they ever thought about doing it, because I don't know. I mean, again, for a 12-person team to take the time and obviously the love that they put into what they were creating is something special. And again, so Neon Giant deserves another chance at this world to really do it and make it, you know, expand upon what all the core that they have, all the goodness that they have, that everybody's been praising, right? Because there's a lot of people in this community that are absolutely loving this game.
Facts.
And take that core and expand out and then really build all the ideas that they had that they obviously just either didn't have the resources to do or just didn't have the time to put in with a 12-person team to make everything right. I think they deserve that chance. I don't Steele, you're in agreement, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement. Just to answer Lord Roughness, because again, I love that chat participation. He says, "Can you name the issues that Ascent have?" Because ignoring the bad reviews, I'm loving this game. That's the other key thing. The game is amazing. Like, I would definitely tell anybody, yo, ignore the reviews. If it's not your favorite reviewer, ignore the reviews because it's probably not going to be accurate. But for example, the issues like me and Pong were having, I was having a lot of frame pacing issues. I was having a lot of where we weren't having issues fighting enemies, but we were having issues just running around the map. Pong was having issues with the game just, textures loading in or the game just loading in. He's running around on
guns
air.
Disappearing. Guns disappearing, not being able to shoot.
Here recently, towards our end of the game experience, the game just decides that I don't need a gun in the middle of me fighting.
Battle.
Like they're like, you go to reload and the gun disappears. I'm like, where did my gun go? So we're running around. Like it happened to us both because I was like, it happened to me. It happens to me. It happened to me first. It had happened to me for quite a while before that. Where I was just like, Pong, I don't know what happened to my gun, man. Like I can't do anything. And he was like, well, what do you mean you don't have a gun? What can I do? I was like, I don't know, man. So I'd have to go into the inventory and then it'll pull the gun back out. But I was just like, it's so inconvenient when we're like in the middle of heat of battle, when we're playing with the hard difficulty, because for some reason hard doesn't scale that well with our weapons that we have at the top tier or whatever the case. And we've had those conversations, we had those conversations last week or previously about some of the scaling feels off. It does need work. But for me, those were like the main issues, like frame issues,
audio issues, and then where I would get this constant, the easiest one, and it happened multiple different ways, but the audio issue was like we'd come out of a battle, let's say with one of the mech guys, and the Gatling gun sound would just continue to be in the background. Like continuously. It sounded like somebody was shooting a Gatling gun constantly. And I got that issue. And we did have a couple side missions that did stick, that just would not pop, right? The side missions we could not complete. So, just minor things like that. Again, overall, Steele and I both really enjoyed the game.
Yeah, facts.
It was a lot of fun, especially in co-op. It was a blast, and I absolutely loved it. And they had so many great ideas. And I'm not one of those people out there because I've seen a lot of people say, "Hey, the game's pretty good, but the story is not good, or there's not memorable characters." I disagree. There's memorable characters. Writing.
There's memorable characters. For sure.
Poon will stick with me for a long time, so he might be one of my tattoos.
Poon out.
Poon out. But I think the writing overall was really good. I think a lot of people skipped a lot of the cutscenes or didn't listen to it because there was little subtle comedy things that were in there that were just absolutely hilarious. Like I said last weekend, they had odes to a lot of different movies out there and stories out there with some of their one-liners. So again, love the game. It has its issues. Like I said, if the issues are fixed, it could move up to an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, facts. Sure. Easily too.
Easily. It's just, again, the UI is clunky. I got used to it, but it was not the easiest to work with. And I think the RPG aspect of it could, as far as the loot and that kind of stuff could have been tweaked more than what they did. Again, I give extra credit bonus points for a small team like Neon Giant for being ambitious. I don't take away from it because the game itself, it's not broken. So this is not a broken game. You can play through it. Some people are going to be more irritated. Like I always say, some people are more accepting of bugs than others. Myself, I'm more accepting because I played back in the day when a game would come out broken and there was no patches, right? And we just still played it because that's what we had at the time.
No choice,
for me, I'm more forgiving when it comes to that stuff. And I give extra credit again to this team for trying what they did with this world. And that's why I say I hope they get another shot at it. I think this is one of those up and coming teams that that again would fit well underneath the umbrella of Microsoft and given freedom, or even Sony, to be given that freedom to try things and to move forward and to try to grow that team out, because I think they really, really have something special. Because again, the detail in this game, there are AAA games that don't even come close to matching what they put into this game as far as details in the world and that kind of stuff. The care and the love that they put into it was definitely special. So again, Lord Roughness, I totally agree.
Yeah, Nog is dope.
I do like the game.
Yeah. Now overall, even after the patch, Lord Roughness, just to address that too, because I saw you talk about that. He said that after the patch, the game seemed to got better, and little things did, but we still had the same issues that we mentioned to y'all before, even after the patch. So we haven't played it again since last weekend. So who knows? Will I go back to it? Probably not. I've seen people, put a lot of time and a lot of energy into it, and that's great. Hopefully I'll continue to enjoy it, but it's one of those games I'm already really bad about going back to games once I beat them. That's why I try to do that's why I try to do mostly everything within the world. Unless we started a brand new game or whatever the case might be, Pong hosts it because he didn't get all the whatever achievements or missions or whatever the case might be. That would be the only way that I would consider going back. Other than that, they don't reward you enough to want to go back. You know what I mean? You can't wear whatever armor you want and level it up and look the way that you want. Some of the guns just aren't worth leveling up. Again, I've had 2 guns up to this point that just don't work as well in game. They just don't. As you progress in the level, they don't work as well. Me and Pong both found a gun, that 3-round burst tracing gun, trace rifle or whatever. It was better than any other guns we were using. It was damn near doing the same amount of damage as our RPG 23 was doing. And I'm well, this is almost pointless. But to each their own. And again, it was in Game Pass. Again, for a game that was not only was it in Game Pass, but people bought this game too. That's the other thing too. You can't forget about that. They still sold over 5 million. As far as in sales and whatever the case.
Dollars.
So you know what I'm saying. So not copies, but in sales, they still made 5 million for a game that's in Game Pass that is solid. And
it wasn't a full price game either.
And it wasn't full priced. It was a $30 game.
Correct. And for a $30 game, again,
perfect
with some details.
Chef's kiss.
Beating AAA level games.
Chef's kiss.
That's impressive. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a chef's kiss. Magnifico. I enjoyed playing it. It was to the point to where I was even having some of the frame issues on PC. I was getting frustrated because I wanted to play, but because of the frame issues, it was getting me frustrated. That's how I know a game's good. When you still want to play, despite everything. You know what I mean? So it's a good frame for me.
But definitely. So if you guys are still chugging along through the Ascent,
enjoy it.
Again, both of us would recommend that you just finish out the game and give it that shot. One thing I did find out, Steel, and I don't know anybody else out there who's playing the game, and I don't know if this is a unique situation to us, that if it's a bug or not, I can't find enough. It's really weird about this because it does seem it's kind of like Cyberpunk 2077. A lot of people are having just completely different kind of experiences with the game, right? It's crazy. but with you and I doing co-op, I went back because you can load up your save and I could play single player, right? And I could load my character in.
Right.
Well, it's I've only got the map is not open for me. I just figured this out. I went back in there to fool around and to try out some stuff. And how I was telling you, Steel, when I go back into my single player from our co-op save with my character, I can go run back through stuff and collect stuff all over again and double up on skill points, double up on everything. So I was doing that, but the map's not open to me and I can't progress. It's really weird. And I haven't figured it out. And the same side missions that are locked in our co-op are locked for me as well. And I can't go do them. The elevator isn't working and stuff at that one point. So for replayability, again, if my save is bugged, I don't know. Again,
it was the first time. That almost turned us off.
right. That almost did. We lost a little bit, but thank God it was right in the beginning.
Yeah.
But the point being is I should be able to go back in single player and continue the game and just run through everything again or whatever I want to do. But it doesn't really seem like I can do that. So that's another thing with replayability and using that character over again. that seems kind of, it's almost like that's a co-op only character, like in a way. It's
Yeah,
kind of weird, you know what I'm
I
saying?
see
And they
what you're
don't give
saying.
you the option to kind of select between those two. So, but again, Ascent, great game. Glad we beat it. Glad we had a chance to play it. Glad it was on Game Pass. Again, for $30, I probably still would have picked it up just because I was so excited for it. It was not a full price game. I mean, for $30, it's worth it, even if you're going to buy it
Yeah,
outright. I
I
definitely
agree.
think it's an experience. Music, characters, it is memorable. It is something fun. There was so many times where Steele and I just would stop and look at what's going on and be like, man, did you just see that? Again, it wasn't necessarily what was right in front of you. It was the stuff in the background that they took attention to detail with, and made the world feel alive.
Yeah.
And I love that. So great game. Quick thoughts. Art of Rally, excellent game. It does take time to get used to, and I understand why you tried it out, Steele, and said it's not for me. I totally get why. It is something that is going to take a while, that you have to play, and it still may not be for you just because of the way that it is,
Mhm.
with the top-down view racer. It's not your normal. It harkens back to RC Pro-Am,
Mhm.
except for the fact that it is sim, that it does, like, you have to learn how to drive each individual
Mhm.
vehicle. There is some Forza to it. There is some Gran Turismo to it, where you have to learn each individual vehicle's characteristics, how they work. I've actually already started going in because you can adjust
Mhm.
the steering, you can adjust the braking, you can adjust all that stuff. And I'm starting to do that on the cars to try to get my style to align with each car, right? Because how I drive may be different from the next person. It's not one of those games like an arcade racer where you can just sit down and every car kind of drives similar, and everybody that sits down will have the same type of experience when they're drifting. This is really individualized. And once
Mhm.
I started tinkering with it, it definitely started feeling better, but it's a game
Yeah.
that you do have to sink some time into. I love the art style. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is a chill, as much as a rally racing game can be chill, it is chill. Like it's a zen, and they kind of play into that. There's a big Buddha statue in the beginning that kind of talks
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, it
um
does. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what it's kind of based upon, and I can tell why, with the music and the way that the graphics are made. When you are playing it, when you get into that mode and you're feeling the road,
Mhm.
it does kind of bring that zen feeling to you, where everything's kind of working right, and you're just kind of in that flow state, right?
Right.
So love it. I'm gonna definitely go back to it again. I played it for a couple of hours when it first dropped, and I definitely will be back into it. I'm not deleting that one. I think that one's great. Hades, fantastic. This game, I understand why it was up for game of the year. Again, Supergiant is special. And I'm glad that Xbox, Phil and his team, repaired the relationship, because we've heard that the bridge kind of had been burnt.
Mhm.
And we weren't, that's why we didn't see it right away. And I'm glad they went back and repaired this, because this team is special. This team has got something. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it for a very long time. Bastion was one of my favorite games back in the day. And it's unique. And Hades is very unique. Not in the fact that it's a roguelike. Obviously, everybody's used to those now. But at the end of the day, the story that they've put together, where they've brought the Olympian gods, and kind of given them a modern feel with with how they speak. There's
Mhm.
some modernness to them, and the whole story of just, you trying to escape your father, escape hell, and
Yeah.
get out of there, is fantastic. And I love mythology, so for me, this is right up my alley. The controls, which you need to be in a roguelike or roguelite, need to be tight. And this
Mhm.
game is extremely tight. There are a couple of things I wish they had after playing Curse of the Dead Gods. And let me just sidebar here. Anybody out there who finds themselves trying Hades for the first time, maybe you have
Mhm.
not tried roguelikes before at all, and all of a sudden you find yourself loving Hades. When you get done with Hades, Curse of the Dead Gods is now in Game Pass. Go check it out. Curse of the Dead Gods it took a lot from Hades. The only thing that's different is you're not going to get the story aspect.
Okay.
If Curse of the Dead Gods had a complete, like, whole story
Mhm.
surrounding it, it would be probably considered up there with Hades, because
Mm.
again, from a technical standpoint, Curse of the Dead Gods, it is a fantastic game. It just doesn't have the story surrounding it, so it doesn't have all that feeling in it when you're
Mhm.
going through. It's more just a straightforward game, right? It's just like you just do what we're, do what you're supposed to do here.
Right.
Go, try to beat the game. It doesn't have all that other stuff surrounding it, and I think that's the only thing that it's missing, that takes away from the level that Hades is at
Mhm.
currently, and why so many people consider Hades as good as it is. But Curse of the Dead Gods is awesome, and I wish, after playing Curse of the Dead Gods and then going to Hades,
Right.
I'm loving Hades, but I'm missing the aspect Curse of the Dead Gods allow you to parry. Curse of the Dead Gods, has some functionality that I wish Hades had. Like I was trying out all my I was trying out all the moves and
Right.
stuff in Hades. I was like, where's my parry at? I want to be able to parry these attacks. The only other little knock I have on it, and it's the knock that I have with a lot of roguelikes, top-down aspect ones like this, is that it's sometimes when you get a crowd of enemies, it's very hard to see. And this could be a me thing. Maybe some people out there have an easy time with it, but it's very hard to see the attacks that are coming. And to know when to dodge and to
Mhm.
know when to get out of the way. And that's vital in these types of
Yeah.
games, right? That's like huge. And when they get crowded together, the indicator, the flashing of them or whatever the case may be, sometimes can be lost in everything that's going on, because there's so much going on the screen at one time. And so I've gotten some cheap hits and some cheap deaths just by not realizing that an enemy was, going for the attack, because he
Right.
was, stacked on, stacked behind two other enemies, and I couldn't tell that he was attacking, right?
Right.
So that kind of stuff is the only stuff that kind of chat my hide. But the rest of it, game is gorgeous. The music is incredible. The acting is awesome. There is tons to see, tons to do, tons of people to talk to. They've got some very unique aspects to getting your skills, and finding that you can get these gifts within the world.
Mhm.
Nectar, and you can give them to different people that you meet throughout the world, and they will give you bonuses, different style bonuses. So you got to decide who you want to give this nectar to and stuff. Thankfully, you get it frequently, but you do have to kind of figure out what you want to build up first. Like I'm going with Cerebrus first, the dog,
Mhm.
the three-headed dog, because he buffs your health every time
Okay.
you give him nectar. And again, in these types of games, that's obviously vital. So I'm doing that first, but you can get all sorts of different bonuses. But the game itself, understand why it's game of the year.
Mhm.
Absolutely loving Hades, and can't wait to get back to it more this weekend, because it's definitely good. So
Excellent.
yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's all I had to say. Back for Blood. Hey, Back for Blood. I talked about it last weekend. Played it. Jumped into the open just real quick before I went to bed. I jumped in with a bunch of randos, played through a few missions. I just wanted to see what it felt like playing with a bunch of randos. Feels great.
Okay.
Again, didn't have any issues. Again, it's a style of game where you do have to play as a team, and it helps to play as a team. But even the randos seem to understand that we couldn't get separated, that you didn't want to be off on your own, that you
Mhm.
didn't want to just be running out there, because the zombies are going to mob you and then you're
Right.
going to be done. And so when a game does that, where playing with randoms without mics still feels kind of natural, and
Mhm.
everybody kind of still does their thing
That's
the
good.
way they're supposed to, that means they've done it right. And so I was really happy to see that, because Left 4 Dead was the same way. You could jump with a bunch of randos and still have a
Good.
good time. And that was good. So anybody who did not have a chance to get into the early access last weekend, definitely, if you're any kind of interested in the Left 4 Dead style first
Check it out.
person
Yes.
co-op, go try it. It's worth it. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be big. I saw, like you did, Steel, I saw more people jumping into it now that it's open,
Yep.
and just absolutely loving it, and talking about that. So good things, man. We just got so many games coming out, man. It's crazy. So
Yeah. That's a
speaking of
fact.
which, so many games coming out. I know you guys have been hearing my voice for a long time, but I'm going to continue and move forward.
Got
And
to.
let's talk about what's coming up this week, the week of the 16th, right? The 16th through the 22nd. So let's talk about it. God dang it, Steel. Now
Let's
I'm looking
go.
at this list. I totally forgot to download Paw Patrol, the movie Adventure City Calls.
We
From
talked
last
about
week,
it
man.
last week. You can't
Oh,
remember. You can't forget. You
I
have to
gotta
remember. You can't
download
forget
that, man.
to download Paw Patrol, man. You need it for the gamer score, bro.
Oh, brother,
I
no,
know
I'm
how
not
much you care
downloading
about
it.
that gamer score, man. You got to make sure you get that in.
We almost forgot to talk about it last week, and then I didn't even download it. Jesus, fake gamer right here, man. Jesus.
I know
All
how
right.
excited you were.
Right. So for anybody again out there, GameInformer.com back / 2021 is what we are using. Again, it's
Yes.
not perfect,
Hey,
but it gives us pretty much a good breakdown of what is coming this week. So starting on August 16th, Switch and PC get Road 96, which is an action adventure game.
okay.
Developer Digix Art. So look out for that one, Road 96 on August 16th. And then on August 17th, we have Greek, spelled Greak. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Different way to spell
Yeah.
Greek. Memories of Azure. Azure servers? Really?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Maybe PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, Switch and PC. Interesting. This looks like an action game by Team 17, published by Team 17, which do publish some really good games. Developer is Navigante
Ooh,
Entertainment.
okay. There you go. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that, but
You did,
interesting. It looks kind of cool.
did
Looks like
amazing.
it's got it looks like it's got a little cool art style to it. I'm
Yeah.
always down to see those. And then we got Humankind on PC on August 17th. I've been seeing a lot of this strategy game from Sega, actually published by Sega,
Interesting.
Amplitude Studios. Looks like it could be a good game. Again, we won't know until it comes out, but it's a historical strategy game. And this is something that a lot of the PC people have been waiting on. Sega does put out some excellent strategy games, as we all know. So this definitely could be something that turns out. We'll see. Definitely got that Civ feel to it, but a
Age of
little
Empire?
bit. Yeah, a little bit more detailed even. So go check that out. Humankind on PC, August 17th. Marvel's Avengers, it's still here. And guess what? Everybody's finally getting their Black Panther. So War
Yes,
for
they are.
Wakanda comes out. I know there is a ton of people who've been waiting on this. Again, not a game I ever jumped into or want to jump into. I can't believe that Square Enix is not breaking through Phil's door saying, please put this on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because, again, for a game that costs as much as it did, it would be nice for them. Yeah, it would be nice for them to get a chance at a second life and to have more eyes on it than what happened. I know a lot of people bought it up front and just dropped it, right? So again, but Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda, maybe this is the shot in the arm they need. Maybe this is what they kind of been waiting on to try to see if, Black Panther, obviously a huge character in that universe, is the one that they need to kind of revitalize this game. But that is coming out August 17th, of course, and it's coming to obviously everything that it's on: PlayStation, Xbox, Stadia, PC. It's going to be there. So for all you Avengers fans out there, I know there still are some people out there playing it. I hope you enjoy this one. And if it does come to Game Pass, I try it. So, again, just throwing that out there, Square Enix. You want to pop that on the Game Pass? Let me know. I'll definitely check it out. Recompile, August 19th, PlayStation 5, Xbox consoles, PC. This one, again, I don't know much about it. I've heard about it. It's a hack and shoot 'em up. So it's a shmup, but it's got a little bit more to it. It looks interesting. I did watch a video real quick on it. It's got a cool, unique style to it, which I'm always about. So again, published by Dear Villagers and developed by Phi Games. I would definitely be looking to see more videos on it and on the Xbox because I do like those style of games. So I can't, I'm not gonna throw it away, but check it out. Recompile, August 19th. Rims Racing. That's right. All you motorcycle fanatics. Steel Rain. Rims Racing is coming out. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series console, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on August 19th. I know the Rims Racing, again, I've tried motorcycle racing. I love car racing,
Mhm.
tried motorcycle racing on games. Just can't do it, man. Just can't do it.
I don't
It
blame you.
just doesn't have the same feeling. So, but
No, don't.
Rims is supposed to be pretty good, man. I looked at what they were doing with it, and they got a lot of customization and stuff, which is really cool. So, Rims Racing, August 19th. The Veil Shadow of the Crown, Xbox One and PC. Falling Squirrel, published and developed by. This looks like an adventure game. I don't know. Again,
Guess we'll
these
see.
smaller, as a blind warrior, you will fight to survive a harsh medieval world using just your ears. So,
Okay.
audio-driven adventure game.
Different.
For sure. I mean, I might just have to check it out just because of that. Just try to see, like, is the screen black and all you can hear is sound? I'm being legit. Like, I don't know. Like you get cues. Like, do you get visual cues on the screen from what you're hearing from the audio? It'll be interesting. So again, I did not even know this was coming out, but I might have to look it up. 12 minutes. This is the big one this week. A lot of people are saying this could be up for game of the year. 12 minutes, obviously, a one-man show. Luis Antonio is the developer. Annapurna is the publisher. They've got all the big actors. I'm sure everybody here that's listening to us is aware of this game, including William Dafoe and Daisy Ridley, and one more. Well, I can't remember who's the last one. But anyways, 12 minutes. This is the game where you are basically in one apartment. There is a kind of murder mystery aspect to this going on. It is your job to figure out what is going on, and taking clues from each time that you play the same thing over and over again, much kind of like a roguelike in a way. But you're supposed to take clues, which leads you further into the story.
Right.
But you kind of play in this one apartment. And so again, this has been hyped. People have been waiting for this. The star power alone means you're going to be getting a good acting. So therefore, that's what this game is based upon, is obviously what you're going to be hearing and what you're going to be experiencing in this one apartment. So that's vital. And they obviously went out and paid big bucks for these actors and actresses to come in and make this game. So I'm looking forward to it. Steel, you got any thoughts on 12 minutes? I don't know if I know it's not your style game per se, maybe, but you think you're going to try it?
Probably not. I probably won't end up trying it. I know people are excited for it, hyped for it, and there is a lot. It has a good cast behind it. Again, I'm always a sucker for a good story, for a good setup and whatnot. And I hope the people that are interested in this game love it. There's been so much hype behind this as far as the potential of the game, the overall gameplay loop. Just learning the story as you progress, constantly having to restart and everything like that. Again, it's not my style, but that doesn't mean I'm any less excited for the people to have it, man. It's been on people's radars for a long time, and people have just been. It seems like they've taken that hype meter to that level, to the point to where it's ready for release, man. You know what I mean? I'm just glad that they're able to get it out in a timely fashion, or in a manner that is sufficient to them. So that's good news. They didn't have to push it back further. They didn't run across any extra issues. Again, you got one main guy that's really put this whole thing together, and for them to have the cast of people, the voices that they're putting to
James
this
McAvoy
game,
is the other actor. So.
James McAvoy. See, exactly. So when you have these people, this cast of people that are like kind of like icons throughout movies and everything like that, it's gonna be interesting to see how they pull it all together in this game. 12 minutes, because I literally believe that it's 12 minutes worth of gameplay every segment, time that you play. So as you try to figure out what happens within these 12 minutes. So I think that's the whole concept behind it. It's like one of those murder mystery stories. You know what I mean? If you're into that kind of thing, I think you're gonna love this. So I feel like that's what's important.
And as the great the indie gamer would say Annapurna can do no wrong. So that is
hey,
for sure.
and if the indie gamer says that, I have to take his word for it. The indie gamer is known for the indie scene. He has an amazing opinion. He's one of those guys where if you ask him what indie game you should play right now, I'm pretty sure as long as you tell him what you're interested in, he'll point you in the exact direction. You know what I mean? Every time without fail. So there's something else to look into. Shout out to the indie gamer. Shout out to 12 minutes, and hopefully that everybody that's excited for it enjoys this.
Gets what they want, man, because I know I'm excited, so I can't wait to try it out. After playing Last Stop here, I keep completing a chapter at a time. I just love, again, not every narrative driven game is for me, and I think the 12 minutes is going to have a little bit more action to it, but again, it's going to be mostly narrative. That's what it's about. I can't wait to jump into it and just to see what it's about. You know, that's what's got me, so I'm hyped. So and then on August 20th, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, we've got Arietta of Spirits, another adventure game. Publisher Red Art Games, developer Third Spirit Games. Looks like a cool little indie cartoonish style adventure game. So again, there is no end to this stuff, man. I mean, again, if you like something, you can go find something that appeals to you. Right now, it's crazy. Another big one, August 20th, for all the PlayStation fans out there. Look, Ghost of Tsushima director's cut is coming. I know there's been a lot of obvious controversy, we'll call it, behind this director's cut and what they're charging for some of the features. Again, not the DLC aspect of this. Iki Island looks fantastic. I looked at some screenshots, looks absolutely beautiful. Again, this will be one of the first games when I do eventually get my PlayStation 5's Ghost of Tsushima, because I did miss it on PlayStation 4 because I had already sold my PlayStation 4, waiting on the next gen. I'm going to go straight to Ghost of Tsushima, and this director's cut is the one I will be obviously picking up at that point, because obviously samurais, that style of game just really appeals to me. So I can't wait to play this, but the director's cut is coming out August 20th, and I know a lot of people are hyped for that as well to get back into it. So can't wait to see what comes out of that. Madden, of course. I guess we could call this, one of the big ones, because Madden every year is Madden, no matter what. At the end of the day,
you see who's on the cover.
It's going to sell, right? Of course, they got the GOAT, and they got probably the future, probably one of GOATs as well. So in Patrick. So again, am I going to jump into it? Nope. Madden for me died a long time ago. Do I try the 10-hour trial every year just to see? Yes, I do. I do that. I'll be doing it again this year. Because we do get that 10 hours if you are a part of the EA Play, or if you have Game Pass Ultimate, which EA is a part of. Of course, you can try it for 10 hours, but I know there's still millions and millions of Madden fans out there that grab this every year. So congratulations. Madden NFL 22 is here on the 20th, of course, out on everything, including Stadia. So enjoy. And that is all for this week. Next week, we got some stuff to talk about too.
We got some interesting things.
We got some big stuff next week. So
we definitely got some interesting things to get into next week. Man, again, we do these upcoming games, and I know we're like knee deep into the show, whatever the case might be, but we do these things because, especially the upcoming game segment, and then ending it off with this thing in gaming, because nobody else talks about it, right? Nobody else is bringing their attention to it. I mean, it's cool to talk about the different things that are going on within the gaming universe, the gaming space, within entertainment, or whatever the case might be, but it's also another thing to make sure that you're highlighting every aspect of it, right? That's kind of one of the main things where us being a non-console centric platform really comes into play, because we can literally talk about whatever. It doesn't have to be limited to, or I don't have to feel bad about talking about so much about one or this or that. I come here to talk about what I want to talk about, what me and Pong want to talk about, and bring attention to. And again, gaming is art and should be treated as such, should always be treated as such. I've never understood why people see it any differently. Again, just because I'm a competitive multiplayer gamer, or I know exactly what kind of games that I'm into, or the kind of games that will pull my attention, doesn't mean that there aren't some games that are maybe in the fray that I wouldn't jump into, you know what I mean? Or maybe take a chance on, you know what I mean? Art of Rally was one of those. If I had to pay for that, I wouldn't have paid for it. You know what I mean? But since it was on Game Pass, I was able to download it, try it, and I was like, nah. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. That's just also my own prerogative. I get into those spaces where if I feel like there's a game that does this game better that I would rather play because of how my time is set up, then that's something turns into something completely different. I'm not one of these people who just have all the time in the world. I've put thousands of hours into Forza, thousands of hours into this game, thousands of hours in this game. I can't do that. You know what I mean? If anybody can, I mean, shout out to y'all, and that's amazing. But I see what you're talking about, Paul. The first game after Madden is one of the ones we were actually excited about. Yeah. So I'm actually more interested in that than I am for Back 4 Blood. But we'll talk about that next week when it comes up. Just to give you guys kind of a background and to be excited. These next few weeks. Again, man. They said the end of 2021. All we had was Halo and Forza now. No. And then they said before that 2022 was looking real dry, and as we get further and further to the end of this year, it's looking like 22 might be pretty moist its damn self, for lack of a better term to put.
Did you say moist? You know how many people hate that word? You just used the word. I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
It's moist.
It doesn't bother me, but for some people, it's like nails on a chalkboard, brother.
Hey, man, look, if you don't like it moist, there may be a deeper problem. I'm just saying.
Now we say like the end of the year is gonna be packed.
No.
We wanted
it to be moist. They said it was gonna be dry, Pong. So I wanted people to know it's not just gonna be wet. It's gonna be moist, Pong.
Damn.
Hey, Fuzzy.
Sorry, people.
Fuzzy's on board.
I apologize for Steel. Yeah. Fuzzy. That's exactly what we're talking about.
He already knows. That's what I like to see. People paying attention. But just to jump into it, because this might be, for some rhyme or reason, end up being a 3-hour show. So you guys, I hope you got your seatbelts on. I don't know how we do it, but we're doing it again, it looks like. But we'll see. I have to get this across because it was a good question, and I've already had a couple people already answer me. So I asked a question earlier for anybody that's listening right now, because we're coming off the upcoming games. I asked the question, hey, if there were 5 video game characters that you were going to get tatted on your arm or wherever that you're going to get tatted, 5 of them, who would they be? And I'm going to start off with these. I'm going to start off with Master Rec, the Fuzzy Belvedere, and Fat Boy Horror, because they threw them in there. They felt confident about their choices.
I like it.
And they had some good choices.
Come up with 3-hour shows. Let's go.
Exactly. But I wanted to do something different because
it's definitely different. I give you props.
Because I know. But we as gamers, we tend to talk about the same things all the time, right? But I mean, especially if you're involved in the scene, you see different people talk about the news. Talk about the same news day by day by day. And sometimes before we get into that, because we do want to talk about some other things, I just want to throw in a quick something to throw a wrench in the situation. He said 6 said 3 hours, even better. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how much Anchor likes that. We have 3-hour shows. Anchor's like, it's too long for me, boy. But
like, what are you guys doing over there? Stop.
And this area,
you ever heard of editing?
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. And this energy just carries all the way through. It's like, what can I edit? I can't edit anything out. All of it was important. But Master Rex said he would get Mario, Sonic, Chief, Joanna Dark, and Commander Shepard. That's quite a lineup, man. I see what you're doing there. Fuzzy Belvedere said he'd get Sonic, Ryu, Laura Crofts, Outrun's Ferrari, which is interesting. I thought about getting a car, but I wanted to make sure I followed my theme.
Fuzz has to have a car.
You gotta have the car. He has to have the car sliding.
Fanatic.
And I feel you, Fuzzy. I told Fuzzy, he said he's a tuner. I was like, Fuzzy, this Forza Horizon 5 comes out. I'm gonna need your tunes, man. I'll be your official driver. Slide the tunes my way. I will put up gameplay. Say, Steel drives Fuzzy's tune. And
that sounds awful. Pause. You can't have Fuzzy Steel.
Can't have Fuzzy Steel. No, Fuzzy Steel doesn't sound good.
Anyways.
Okay. But anyway, and then he said he'd get Tetris blocks. Okay, you're a Tetris fan. I feel you. And Fat Boy Horror said he'd do Wonder Boy, Alice from Phantasy Star 1, Solid Snake, Master Chief, and his last one would be Shinobi.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We got some interesting choices. Jago, you said you threw yours in there as well. Hey, throw them back at me, Jago, so I can tell the people what you were thinking. I'm gonna scroll up here to see if I can find it really quickly. Doesn't look like I can.
Yobi says he would just have the Mass Effect character.
I did see that.
Did you see that? I thought that's pretty good.
I was about to talk about that.
Yobi.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope. Having like a sleeve with all the Mass Effect, I'd be dope. I from this recent playthrough, I would consider that, but my Commander Shepard isn't everybody's Commander Shepard. So,
right.
You know what I mean? So there's some uniqueness in that too. That's gonna be dope. Yeah, but Jago, throw those back in there, man, so I can go ahead and throw those out there. But just to go through mine real quick, and I'm still working on this list because there's one of these that I want, but it doesn't fit within the theme of the characters that I got. At least for there's probably a better choice that I could make, and maybe you guys will see what I mean by this. So for mine, I went Master Chief from Halo 4. Because that's one of my favorite Spartan designs, especially for Chief. Then I wanted to go Clayton Carmine from Gears. Okay. One of my favorite all-time characters, especially he's the grub killer. He's the one that didn't get killed that we voted on and ended up being the badass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got to get him. He's a savage. I got to get Dante from DMC. Devil May Cry had a heavy impact as far as just like combat systems and just overall adventure games like that. So that's what made that interesting. I also picked Nightmare from Soul Calibur. I went through all of the, I went through the different aspects, and I was talking to my brother about it. And when I said Nightmare, he was like, "Yeah, like Nightmare's you. You're a Nightmare guy, man." I was like, "Yeah, man, he's one of my favorite characters of all time." Because we were thinking about some other fighting games. It was like I love Tekken. Tekken's like my heart and my soul, and I love Marvel vs. Capcom and whatnot. But it's like as far as like an overall character. Nightmare definitely fits that for me. And then my last choice. See, I was going to go with Sonic, mainly because Sonic has more of an impact for me than Mario does. Right. Sonic was he's an iconic part of my childhood. I grew up playing a lot of Sonic. Every Sonic game that you could probably think of, I probably played except for some in the middle. But it was like, I don't know. I'm not really as much of a fan of Sonic as I was of Knuckles, per se. Right. Knuckles was my character. That was my guy. He had the attitude, you know what I mean? Especially from Sonic 2, I believe. So with Sonic and Knuckles, that was I think that was actually right before 3. Knuckles was Knuckles the dude. He's a protector of the Chaos Embers. He had the attitude. He had the finesse. He was a hard ass, man. I love Knuckles. And then my brother was like, "But what about Shadow?" And I was like, "Damn, I love Shadow too, man." Like I was like, those are 3 characters that are really dope. But then I was talking to the wife with it a little bit, and she was like, "But those characters don't fit in with those other characters you just named." Right. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I got to give it some more thought and really see who else that I would throw in there. I'm still like, I don't know where I want to quite go with it yet, because again, these are characters that I'd have to deal with for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Right. That I'd want to explain to people, like, yeah, these are people that are like, this is part of the biggest reasons why I am a gamer today. So, Lord Ruffin says Sam Fisher, Master Chief, Commander Shepard, Laura Croft, and Joy in the Dark. I think I saw that. And Dragonheart says he got the custom correction. I will get my custom Commander Shepard tatted. That's dope.
That's love right there.
That's a lot of love. That's dope. That's dope as hell. I like what you did there. Other than that, I didn't see Jago reposted, so I guess we'll wait for that unless he's just caught up and busy right now. So, Pong, I want to throw the ball to you. I know you said, man, I don't know who I would really do. But when you think of, I want to make this as easy as possible for you, so we can really dive neck deep.
Because for me, it's like I go back and forth, and
top of the dome. Well, it's like the first 5 that you think of, because I mean, you could always adjust this, right? It's not like you're getting a tattoo tomorrow, but if like right at this moment, if you had to pick 5 characters that are your guys. Like, you just know, like, no matter what, like, when you think back on them, you're like, damn, they really had an impact on me.
Ugh, but that's like, but again, you're talking to an old dude who's had like so many impact. All right.
It's 5. Whichever
I know,
one.
I know, but it's like it's you're impossible. All right, so let's go. Because like I said, I could go with the Mount Rushmore, but again, not all those characters meant everything for me. So like, again, it's just like, do I want them? All right, so I guess let's get the easy ones out of the way. So it'd be Femshep,
okay,
from Mass Effect. Okay, I would definitely have
default
that.
Femshep.
Yep, default Femshep.
Okay.
Just because it's recognizable.
Okay.
My character, my Femshep is actually pretty close to the original Femshep when it's all said and done. So it wouldn't, Femshep just in general. I just do her. BioShock Big Daddy. Because the Big Daddy.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I might even get the little sister in there.
Ooh,
I definitely do the Big Daddy, like the little sister riding on him. That'd be pretty cool with her shot.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's dope. I like that.
Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 1.
From Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I love Arthur. So Arthur's my man. So let me see here, and then Altair from Assassin's Creed, the original. I would definitely do that.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
Yep,
last one. You're on a roll. I like your choices so far because I like Altair too. Altair was my guy. Like, he's the reason, like one of the biggest reasons that I fell in love with Assassin's Creed. All the way up to what, Brotherhood or whatever.
I just realized I said Arthur Morgan.
You did say Arthur.
Realized I said
you said Arthur Morgan.
No, John Marston. Marston is Red Dead 1. I like Marston better. You know what? I just had this conversation with a coworker yesterday as far as Red Dead 1 and Red Dead 2. So I apologize for everybody that said Arthur Morgan.
I was about to say
John Marston. Yeah, you can correct me anytime, Steele, because my brain's fried right now. So
you're good,
John Marston. John Marston. So I'm definitely going Marston there because I like Red Dead 1.
I do feel that.
Final character. Who would I throw on there? Dude, there's so freaking many. What the hell? Tiny Tina, Borderlands 2.
Tiny Tina, okay. I like
One
that.
of my all-time, my Borderlands 2 is up there on my all-time list. Tiny Tina, I absolutely loved her as a character. I think she's funny as hell. I thought about actually getting her tattooed at one point.
Really?
And I was like, that'd be a little weird. Tiny Tina is a little, I don't know. Just for me, it was like, can I pull that off? But yeah, let's say if I had her in a character set, I think it would be fine. So I go Tiny Tina there.
That's dope. I like that. I like that list that you got. You had something from a little bit of everywhere, which is super dope, and from kind of almost from different eras. I would say that's really. I like those choices. You made some good choices right there. And I can tell that they were difficult and say thought provoking.
Well, there's a ton because again, Laura
can always
has
get
meant
adjusted.
a lot to me as well. So I do Laura. There's just so many.
You can add on more, right?
Yeah.
There's ones you can feel different about on different days.
Gears again, 1, 2, and 3. I spent so long in that world and that franchise.
Hell yeah.
Again, I'm not.
I agree with you.
So for me, doing the, it would just be really hard. Let's say the limit to 5. That would be really hard.
Yeah. No, it would definitely be difficult. And I mean, that's what makes it unique. I was only doing 5 because I only have so much space on my forearm, and I want each character to have, enough detail in them to where it's noticeable. Like, when you look and you're like, oh wow, those dudes look dope. Some people threw some more suggestions in there. Winnow Wait said he'd do Kratos, Chief, Mega Man, Shadow, and Cole from Gears. My brother
can't go wrong, man.
My brother said he'd do Cole too, but he wants to do Superstar Cole.
Okay, all right.
With the hat and all, I was like, oh, for real? He was like, yeah, man. You know how much I love Cole, man. I was like, yeah. I was like, damn. I was kind of surprised you said that. I was expecting just regular Cole. But
I would need Cole in his ball gear, man, with the helmet.
Yeah,
with
that's dope. Crash Ball Cole, hell yeah. Back from the dead said he'd do Leon and Claire from RE2. That's a good choice. I like that. Senua from Hellblade. That's a good one to throw in there. Senua's up there for me, man. Like, after playing Hellblade, I'm gonna be the one to say it. Hellblade pulled me more than God of War did. I'm just saying, it made me want to play more than God of War did. That's just me personally. This is
You'd
me.
be burned at the stake for that one.
You take that how you want it. But I like Hellblade more than I like God of War. I'm just saying, me personally. But to each their own. Y'all like what y'all like. Then Sunbreaker Symbol from Destiny 2 and Vibes from the Skies of Arcadia. You got some good choices there, man. I like that.
Absolutely. Can't go wrong with Skies of Arcadia.
Master X said he'd probably throw a Mortal Kombat character in there. I think he was talking to me, a Mortal Kombat character. Damn, Master X, that's a good point. I would do a Mortal Kombat character, but I feel like Nightmare, like far as like fighting genre goes, I care more about Nightmare than I do from Soul Calibur than I do any Mortal Kombat character. Because if I had to pick a Mortal Kombat character, I'm picking Sub-Zero. Like, point blank, either Sub-Zero or Cyrax. It's going to be one of the two. Like, those are my two favorite characters from Mortal Kombat. So it would be one of those two that I would have to pick from. But I think the final one that I was going to pick, if I had to replace my Sonic choice or Knuckles or whatever the case, is probably going to be Ganondorf from Zelda. Just because Ganondorf is one of my favorite characters in Super Smash Bros. But he's also one of my favorite characters from Zelda overall. Like, getting Link would be cool, but I'm not per se a Link fan. Like, I'm not per se a huge Zelda fan neither. My two favorite Zelda games of all time of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Right.
That's where it stops at for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Mine's 1 and 2. So hey.
Yeah, so I feel you. So it's like, I don't really care about anything else. But if I had to, and I had to pick a different character, just because of like the impact Ganondorf has on Zelda overall, and he's always existed. He's kind of like the yin to the yang. You know what I mean? If Link is going to continuously come back and just be born into whatever generation, you know what I mean? And come to save the world or whatever the case, but he always has this destiny, then Ganondorf, you can expect for Ganondorf to be right there. Like that whole triangle, that's why they call it the triangle. The Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf kind of, triangle. I mean, that's essentially the biggest part of it. You know what I mean? They always coexist with each other, and there's always this fight that's going on. So I think that would be a good pick. General C said he's going to pick Noob Saibot. That's a good choice, man. I like Noob. Noob Saibot was dope. Master Chief, Marcus Phoenix. Marcus Phoenix he's one of the biggest reasons why I love Gears, other than Coltrane. His attitude, Marcus's attitude, and him like, especially when you get to the backstory, why he ended up in jail and everything else. Just Marcus overall as a character, they really developed that man really well.
They developed all of them really well.
Oh man,
listen,
like
Dom. I mean, again, Dom. It's just 1, 2, and 3 are just
classics. They're classics.
They're
classics.
Are.
They really need to make. If there's one game they really need to remaster, like they did it with Gears 1. They put out the Ultimate Edition, perfect.
They did.
But now you need to give me 2 and 3. Give me 2 and 3. Completely remaster them. Whatever you got to do, because
the Marcus Phoenix collection that was trending last year.
It needs to come out.
Idea.
It needs to come out.
It does.
It just needs. Give me the Ultimate Edition, up-res or whatever the case. Bring it up to date, and then just remaster the other 2. Because those are honestly 2 and 3. If you're able to introduce today's gamer to Gears now, I think it would really revitalize and get people excited for Gears 6. You know what I mean? Or get people more interested in Gears 5 potentially, or again, just to build up that hype train. So that's something exciting to think about. Master Rex said, "What about your anime characters?" My anime character list, I'm on the fence. I can give them to you really quickly, Master Rex. I don't want to hold up a lot of time with that, because this is something that I'm still on the fence with this, because there's other characters I kind of want to throw in there, because again, it is something that I'm considering, because I can't just do anime by itself. I have to throw my Marvel characters in there too, my Iron Man and my Venom. Those are guarantees. I had to throw them in there. I can't go away from them. But for that side, right now I got Iron Man, Venom, Kakashi from Naruto, some Gundam. I haven't decided what Gundam yet, though. That's the only problem with that. I'm either going to go with Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, because he's amazing to me. You can't beat somebody who tells you that you have to cross infinite time and space to touch me. Like, how do you deal with that? Goku's a good choice, 108, but that's kind of like Typical. Like I don't like I would like I'm so on the fence of doing something Dragon Ball Z because of how impactful Dragon Ball Z was to me. But I don't know what I would get from Dragon. Actually, no, I'm lying. If I was gonna get something from Dragon Ball Z, it would be Teen Gohan. Teen Gohan was the most influential character to me out of all of Dragon Ball. Like that fight he had with Cell, even though I thought it was corny at some point, because Teen Gohan could have beat Cell's ass off rip. He could have. Like it was so fucking apparent, man. Like not only that, but Goku got me tight. That's why I can't respect Goku. How you gonna give the enemy a sensu bean, man? Like, what is going on? Like, but that's a whole different story. Dragon Ball has always been amazing to me, but yeah, that should probably be mine. And then I also have Ichigo in there, his full hollow form, because that's always been an amazing thing for me. But that'd be on that side of it, and kind of where I'm standing at right now. But man, that was an interesting topic to talk about. Definitely interesting. Everybody's choice was pretty amazing, man. Just to shout out some people again, real quick in the chat. Much love for y'all just being here and communicating, talking to us, man. It's been a rough week, man, and we started the show. I'll tell y'all, look, we'll peek behind the curtain a little bit again. Me and Pong haven't talked all week, man.
Because of your addiction.
It has nothing to do with the addiction. We could have talked.
What happens with That's what happens with family and drugs, man. That's what happens.
Family and drugs. Family and drugs. Oh my God. Apart.
See?
Oh my goodness.
Chat, remember this. Just remember this.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. But I only say that because, again, you know, with life and everything, we haven't got a lot of time to spend on this as much as we would like. You know what I mean? And that's such an impactful thing, because the fact that we're still being able to come in here passionate, no hatred, giving you that authentic, organic, you know, energetic nature that only me and Pong can bring you. It's still a unique thing to me. You know what I mean? That we can still host a show and it still comes across as organic as we are. At least I feel like. Now, if y'all feel like we're being fake, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, you can 1v1 me in Destiny right now. I'm feeling pretty confident. And we'll see where we can go from there. It's just because that's the latest PvP game that I've been playing. But
chat, look, he skipped over look at what he's doing. He skipped over my anime. He didn't ask me to pull up my anime tattoos.
Because it was just
this is how it starts.
It was just a quick conversation. I didn't want to get lost in the anime conversation.
No.
I mean, I know you got some anime choices. I know you got some anime choices.
Nah, you just run the show.
Oh, here we go.
You don't need me.
I didn't think that you'd be interested in answering the anime question.
I'm just gonna turn off my camera. It's cool.
No. Okay. Well, that's it. That's interesting then. So I like this. Paul has some fight back. Paul, you gave me your 5 gaming characters. You obviously got 5 anime ones. Who are you going to choose then, Paul?
The old school has to be represented.
Who?
Right?
Who are you going to give me, Paul?
Not all of us old guys watch all the new anime like you youngsters. But guess what? We started it.
Who are you going to give me then,
without
Paul?
us.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
You want to hear it? Okay, all right. For Canada from Akira, of course.
Oh,
have him
okay.
on there, man.
That's an excellent choice. That's an excellent choice.
From Ghost in the Shell, she's got to be on there, of course.
Oh, that's another classic. I love Ghost in the Shell.
Roy Fokker from Robotech with Skull One. Gotta have that in there, man.
Okay, I like your choices so far. I can see you with these. I can see you with these.
And then we got to have Spike and Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop, because, man,
Cowboy Bebop's a classic. Cowboy Bebop is a classic.
So there's my 5 right there. Bam. But I got
you get both of them from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, Spike and Faye Valentine.
Spike and Faye. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I like that. You're really confident. See, what threw me off guard, I didn't think you'd be as confident in the anime choices because of the gamer choices, but you were a lot more confident in these anime choices. Pong is like, yeah, I would definitely get these. That's like guaranteed. I'd go get them tomorrow. I know exactly who I need to get, as long as somebody drew up a good design. That's dope. I like those choices too. Those are really solid choices, because those are also ones that I grew up on, that are memorable for me, that I could have conversations with people about. One away said Guyver. The Guyver's a good one too. Guyver's a good one too. I love
Gogo 13.
Yeah, Gogo 13. Yep. Y'all throwing in some excellent takes in there. I like that. See, that's why I brought it up. See, and damn, I didn't think this would be as amazing for the people as it would be. That's awesome. I'm glad y'all are enjoying it, man.
That's because we got an amazing chat. Look at all these people here, man. We got an amazing chat. People show up and they love talking with us. So, man, that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I didn't think you'd be as confident in those choices. I didn't think that I was gonna need to ask, but you were a lot more confident. So excuse me.
My selection is smaller in anime, right?
Okay,
because
that's true.
Anime, I have seen a ton of anime, but again, there's so much out there. But again, the newer stuff I really haven't touched. So the older stuff, it's a much smaller selection than it is with video games for me. So that's why it was easier.
Dragonheart Yobi says Pycon, Piccolo, and Yugi. I like those choices. Those are good choices. Pycon was an icon. He wasn't as, I don't think he was raw as Janemba though. I don't think Pycon isn't Janemba though. That's my thing right there. Caitlin, what's going on?
Good morning, Caitlin.
Six Slayer said, my boy Pong Soul with the Macross Robotech reference. You already know.
Absolutely sick.
You know we got love for Robotech here. As a Gundam fan, you know I gotta show love to Robotech too. Robotech is definitely up there for me, for sure. And then the Akira, Akira's a classic for me.
Have to.
Fucking excellent choices, ladies and gentlemen. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Oh my goodness. I thought I was gonna come in here. We're gonna have nothing to talk about. But with that being said,
Jay's in the house. Graphic God, what's going on? We see
Graphic God, what's going on, man? Look, man, again, much love to y'all showing up. Living SplitScreen, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, where we give you that live, raw, uncut, organic, and authentic nature that me and Pong can bring you. And look, man, we're the only ones that can consistently do this. We're on episode 20, and we're still keeping it live, raw, and uncut. We don't care what nobody else say. But with that being said, we are going to get into some gaming topics for the week.
Oh, we're actually going to talk about some of the gaming topics out there? Really?
We're going to talk about some games. We're going to talk about some games. We might talk about a couple of things. And so I'll start off with, I'm going to ask you, Pong. What do you want to jump into first? What you got I feel like you got some big opinions about something that's really been maybe grinding your gears a little bit.
No, let's just let's get the rant out of the way then, and let's just jump into it's both good and it's a rant, just because of the simple fact that what happened afterwards and got taken out of context. Let's jump into Phil Spencer comments.
Let's do it.
Let's just do this. Let's do this real quick. And again, when it comes to this stuff, it's one of those things. I appreciate people's work and the time they put into anything that they do. I just feel that, again, journalism in 2021 and over the past decade has just fallen off a cliff. And I get tired of the clickbait stuff. And I know it's a part of business. Again, we've been through this a million times. I get it's a part of the business, but I hate it. Okay. And I will continue to hate that this is what we've come to when it comes to getting news and information out there for people to consume. And I also lay blame on the people who, whether willfully or not, just run with a headline instead of actually reading like a real person would do, actually reading the full article and getting the full context. So there's a couple things with this. So again, for anybody who doesn't know, Phil had a short but really good interview with Games Radar, actually, because I did read the entire thing. Unlike some people. So Games Radar did an interview with Phil in which he talked about numerous subjects. He went through, Game Pass. He talked about the gaming industry and where it's going. And obviously what he sees. And a lot of this stuff's been talked about before. But again, anytime you get Phil's open. He's very transparent and he likes to talk, and he will just kind of talk. And so little nuggets come out of there. And so a really good article. So again, go over to Games Radar. The title is Xbox Everywhere. Phil Spencer wants an Xbox app on as many devices as possible. So Games Radar did a great job.
Yeah.
And they created a great headline, a non-clickbaity headline that gave you one part of the interview, right? And it let in, and it says the future, their subtitle was "The future of Xbox is about breaking down barriers to focus on player joy and ease of access." Awesome. Perfect. Right. Again, he was talking about, I'll go down here and actually find it, but he was talking about, they asked him, they asked him about specifically about what he sees as a strategy for Xbox.
Mhm.
I'll just read the article. It'll be easy. I'll read this part.
If you want, where it says
Yeah.
our strategy, I could jump into that too if you want me to.
Yeah.
You want me to read it?
I was gonna talk about. Actually, are you on the part where it says Xbox wants to end the console war?
No, I'm not on that. But that
Oh, okay.
towards
Well,
the bottom?
that's the title. So you're right there. If you're talking about the paragraph that starts our strategy.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. The top the paragraph right above kind of gives a initial rundown of where they're going with it. So.
Okay. So you want me to start where is that where the TikTok portion is?
It's interesting. Let's just go in the next one.
Okay, we'll start with there. I'll start with there.
Yeah.
But I'll just set this up for you so you can deep dive it, because I know this is something that's important to you. It's also important to me because we've talked about this in the past. As far as like the overall vision in gaming, what's important, accessibility and things like that. And he's speaking those similar types of things. So I will put this up on screen so you guys can also see it. But they start off by saying that it's interesting that throughout our conversation, Spencer doesn't talk about competition with other consoles. Although he got a slight dig in about Sony's PlayStation strategy during E3, which we do have to face. Still up to this point, Sony has not given their players a reason to be invested other than saying, hey, there's stuff coming. Right? There hasn't been an E3. There hasn't been a conference. There's still rumors. We're at the end of, we're getting to the middle of August. And there was supposed to be a show at the beginning of this month. Or earlier.
And his dig during the E3, for people who don't remember, was about the diversity of games.
Yes.
That's what his, basically a lot of people read into that, which it certainly could have been Phil's way of digging in that, hey, Sony's got on lockdown when it comes to third person narrative driven story,
because they do. That's games, what they do.
Because they do. But where's the rest of the games being represented, right?
Yep.
And that was kind of his dig that Xbox's strategy is bigger than that they want to touch they want to have as much content for as many different people as possible out there, so they're not limiting themselves to that. So continue.
They said his focus is clearly on converting non-gamers into gamers rather than shifting the current user base from one machine to another. Again, we've said here, gaming is capped out at 500 million. Whether you're on PC or you're on console or you're Nintendo, gaming itself within those spaces, there's three main spaces, is capped out at 500 million. We have not seen major growth. Will we this time? Who knows? We still have a whole generation to get through to tell. And there's another 2.5 billion gamers who play on mobile devices that we have not touched yet. But with that being said, when I asked, for example, about a lack of epic self-contained single-player games on Xbox, he knows straight away what I'm referencing. Sony's recent success with titles such as Spider-Man, which is a good game, The Last of Us 2, which is another good game, and he's not having any of it. Phil Spencer states this, which I feel like is an important thing, and I feel like this is going to be a jump-off point for Pong, so I'm going to pass this right off to you after this. Phil Spencer says, our strategy is not to just go be like someone else, he says. I get a push sometimes of, what's your version of this or that game? I've been in this industry for a long time. I have a ton of respect for all creators on all platforms, and I know many, many of them. But it's good if we're just doing something different than what other platforms are doing. We're not in the business of just trying to create a green version of somebody else's blue or red colored platform. That's not the example of creativity that I want to see in the games industry.
Yep, that is correct.
Now, this next statement, I feel like is going to be a central part of what you're going to get into, because they say, Games Radar, but what of these rumors that one of the platforms that Microsoft wants to put its Xbox app on is Nintendo Switch? Evolution always takes time, Phil says. There are different strengths that different companies have built through hard work, and some of these changes they might see as disruptive, and they'll have their own kind of business cadence and pace at which they'll make those changes. So, just starting off with this initial first little area right here, because it's a lot. It's an impactful portion. What do you feel about that, man? About, Phil coming out and saying, look, our strategy is not everybody else's strategy.
Right.
We're Xbox. We're trying to do what Xbox needs to do for us to be successful. We don't need to do what everybody else is doing. The same way everybody doesn't have to do what we do, right? That's essentially kind of what I took from it. What did you take from it, and how are you seeing things?
Well, it was pretty straightforward. Again, when you read the full paragraph and his quotes, he's quite clear. Again, this has nothing to do with, well, let me start here. What happened was WCCF Tech, which I think has put out some really good content previously.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to run and tweet out with the headline on their article, Phil Spencer doesn't want to copy Sony's strategy with single player blockbuster games. Okay, they left it at that. Okay.
That's not what he said.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said at all. Right.
But
they ran with this. And of course, the extremists took that, didn't read the article, or if they did, again, intellectually dishonest, ran with the narrative. Oh, here we go. Xbox is not getting any single player games. They're not going to spend $150 million on a blockbuster game, a single player game without multiplayer, without any kind of monetization.
There you go.
They're not going to do that because it doesn't fit Game Pass. It's, they need that Game Pass fodder. They're not going to spend the big money to go make a Last of Us, right? They're not going to do that kind of stuff, right? That's what they did. That's what they did yesterday. And again, WCCF Tech, I blame both parties when it comes to this stuff, but they started it by pulling out and really making up that headline as if that's what Phil said. No, that's not what Phil said. If you read his things, it's quite clear. His context was, we are not simply just going to take, an Uncharted, a Last of Us, reskin it and throw it out there for the world. That's what his point was. His point was not saying we are not going to make single player blockbuster games, because that's just not what we do. That's not what he said at all. Mm-hmm. He, again, from the time that he took over and started gathering studios and started gathering talent underneath him, there's been an entire shift in how Xbox does things and how they perceive a game creation. They are allowing, and we have heard from developer after developer after developer, they are allowing these people to do what they want to do.
Yes.
Creative freedom is key number one. So what Phil is simply saying here is we're not going to try to pound a square peg into a round hole.
Yep.
That's not what we're going to do. If a team comes to us and says, hey, we want to do this game, and it so happens to be third party or a third person, and it so happens to be a narrative driven action style game, so be it. We're going to allow them to go do it. But we're not going to go to any team and say, hey, we need our own Uncharted. We need our own Last of Us. We need you to make this game, and we want you to copy that style, right? That's what Phil is saying. We're not going to simply create the green version of a blue or red game. That's all he was saying, is that we're not going to do it just to do it. Now, if it comes out of the creative freedom and it comes out from the dev, whichever dev it may be, underneath them, that they want to do a game like that, and they have an idea, an original idea that they want to make, great. Phil's going to be all about it. Awesome. But we're not going to force it. That's all he was saying. We have all these teams underneath Xbox with all these different ideas and all these different visions. And we're going to allow all of them to go out there and do what they do and make what they want to make. And again, if that's a first-person shooter, fantastic. If that's a puzzle game, awesome. If it's a top-down isometric RPG, cool. We're going to be about it, right? That's what he's talking about, and what he has consistently said time and time and time again. And we've heard from the developers backing him up on this, that's exactly what is happening internally. They are under no pressure to do anything that they don't want to do at all. They are allowed to go do this. They're just given simply the support necessary on the backside of things to make their dreams happen. And that's the way it's been. So again, my problem is, again, journalism in 2021. I know why WCCF Tech probably ran with this headline. They knew the response it was going to get. Unfortunately, it's turned into no longer people clicking on it and reading it. They just take the headline. And again, this has been throughout history too. Don't get me wrong. We can go through history and see where people just take headlines and not read the articles. But
Yep.
I'm just saying, in this day and age, the extremists are going to take this, the clowns are going to take this and run with the old narratives that they have. Oh God, here we go. Of course, Game Pass is ruining gaming
Yep.
because again, we're not going to see any more single player games. We're not going to see any more of this. We're not going to see. That's not it at all. And we already know. And again, this is where the intellectual dishonesty comes in. We know almost for a fact that Hellblade 2 is probably going to be a third person narrative driven action style game, just from what we know of Hellblade 1, right? So we already know these things are in the works. We know that some of the other studios are making third person games. So this is not even a question anymore. So again, that was what my problem was. And then to your second half that you read there, Steel, as far as Game Pass goes,
right.
This makes sense. This is something that's been talked about. I've been in Speculation Town with Boom. Shout out to Boom on Xbox Factor podcast. We talked about when the rumors were swirling, when Phil had the Switch up behind him on his shelf, and whether or not that meant that Game Pass is coming to Nintendo. And I said it's a possibility. I'm sure talks happen, right? And I said it definitely. I could see how it would make sense for both, but I also understand why Nintendo wouldn't want to do it, right? And I understand why obviously Sony would not want to entertain having Game Pass on their system. I get it. Like he said, it's considered a disruption of the norm, right? It's something that kind of is outside of both Nintendo and Sony's strategy. I also found it interesting that in the article he does state, though, it's not a dead end. And you can almost hear him smiling. It's not a dead end, meaning that there's still light in that tunnel, right? That's not closed off permanently, because he thinks, from Phil's point of view, as the industry changes, as accessibility gets greater and greater, as more places and more people are able to get their hands on games in different ways, whether it be through an app on your TV or whether it be through xCloud in your browser on your iPad, it does not matter. As people have more and more access to the gaming industry, I think that he truly believes that Sony and Nintendo are going to realize that there is more people out there than that 250 million cap that we talk about all the time, Steel, that you bring up, that their vision for the 2 billion, the 3 billion people out there in the world is actually a reality. And I think that at some point, Phil still believes in his heart of hearts that there could be, and I know this was the old running meme with Kumbaya Phil, and that he was just a nice guy and he just wants everybody to play video games together. And I think that's true. I think that's really him. And I think that he still believes that vision is real, that somewhere down the road, that all the major players in the gaming industry come together and find a way to have a platform where you can be anywhere and literally access any of your games from any ecosystem and be able to play them. And just have it there, right? And I think that he still sees that as the future at some point. So again, great article, go read it, great interview. Again, there's always little nuggets when it comes to Phil, but this problem that we have between journalists and the extremists, the clown show, the circus in our community of running with these false narratives whenever they feel it necessary. And of course, nowadays it becomes more and more because Xbox is actually doing good things. It's become even more toxic than it used to be, just because there's so much hate now, because Xbox is no longer just the weakling on the ground that you're kicking around. Now he stood up for himself, and now he's fighting back, and now you're kind of fighting for your own, whatever that is, that ego inside you. You're fighting for that, and you've got a battle on your hands. I just hate it. I think it does nothing for the community. It does nothing for the industry to have this. Competition is good. It always will be. But the outright fighting and the outright hatred and the outright trying to spin people's words to somehow tear them down, or to make people not try to temper people's fun and excitement for something is just wrong. And again, I just don't like it. So I had to point that out, Steel. So you got any thoughts on this, Steel? I know
man.
you kind of read through the article a little bit.
I haven't really heard. I mean, again, being kind of out of the loop, I haven't really heard people, break this down and twist it in so many ways. But I can imagine the people that probably have, and I could probably
it was yesterday.
and I could probably name them out for sure. But we don't do that. And what's crazy to me, what continues to be crazy to me, is that people just can't take things at face value. Now, if you got to make content, bro, or gal, whatever you are, if you got to make content, then you got to make content. Do your thing. But I don't believe in being disingenuous. I don't believe in going against the grain just to go against the grain. If I don't feel that way, then I don't feel that way. Or if I do feel that way, I'm gonna tell you what, this is the way that I'm feeling. Not just because. Like, again, this is another one of those articles to where if you actually read the article, especially from Games Radar, shout out to Games Radar, especially from Games Radar and how they broke down this whole interview, there isn't no way, shape, or form that you could have misconstrued it to say that, oh, Xbox doesn't believe in doing these X amount of things anymore. No. Just like the quote in here that they put, we're not in the business of trying to create a green version of somebody else's blue or red colored platform. I feel like that quote in itself has so much power within it that it can be misconstrued, that people could run with it however they want. If that's all you're going to read, if that's what you're going to read and then stop, sure. But even then, I would tell you that you're just misconstruing it just to misconstrue it. Like, do you want Sony to do it? Obviously, y'all don't want Sony to make a Game Pass like system or like service, which I don't understand. When this has done nothing but give people accessibility, something that me and Pong constantly talk about here on Living SplitScreen, at least. Or when we go to other shows, we constantly talk about accessibility. I know people like to talk about, oh, you care about what other people think. Yeah, we do. Like, being selfish is easy. That's easy. Like, I can do that all day. I can not talk to people all day. Like, me and Paul can mind our own business, be in chat for hours by ourselves and just talk about the things we're interested in. But it's beyond that for me because I want the bigger picture. Why? Because too many people have got teased, picked on, messed with, fucked with, have mental issues that use this entire ecosystem, this entire side of what gaming is supposed to be to help them with reality. And people want to take it and turn it into something else that people need to get bullied about. This is all this has turned into at this point. At least for me, that's how I look at it. When you take this and construe it however you decide to construe it, other than them saying, we're just trying to be Xbox. Or it's just like Sony saying, oh, we're just trying to be Sony. Sony keeps telling you, oh, we're good at making third-person action-adventure games. They keep telling you that. That's why you keep telling us that, oh, y'all need to make a third-person action-adventure game. Because that's what y'all are into, and that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with diversity either. If you don't have diversity, your ecosystem will never grow. If everybody was playing the same games, obviously most of the hardcore don't like playing Fortnite. Most of the hardcore don't like playing free-to-play games. Let me also tell you that most of the hardcore also do not invest in their own ecosystem. Mm-hmm. They don't. So you want people to constantly make $150 million games and y'all don't buy the games? It doesn't make sense. Xbox sees where the trend is, like Microsoft sees where the trend is going. Nintendo sees where the trend is going. They can do the same things that they're doing. Nintendo's the only one that can get guaranteed sales no matter what because they're Nintendo. PlayStation's doing it all off of just fan base, all off of this misnomer that they're the most popular console, that, oh, they're the Gucci of our ecosystem. Oh, they're the Prada of the ecosystem. They're the whatever brand name, X brand name that you want to fit in there. That's who they are. Yeah. And that at Microsoft apparently is like FUBU or something, or Shaq Shoes or whatever else the case might be. Like, it's like, that's not the case. Just because I'm able to find value in my service, I'm playing games that I otherwise wouldn't have played before. Like, why don't people understand that that's a unique thing? that before you were having to make a decision on what games you were going to buy. Y'all weren't buying every game before. Shit, even with this generation, it's blatant. Ratchet & Clank sold 1 million copies, and there's 10 million of you hardcore PlayStation gamers that people keep saying, that's people who buy the console at launch are part of the hardcore. So basically, if I'm gonna add 2 and 2 together to get 4, the 10 million people that have PlayStations right now, minus whatever 25%, let's just use that. I'm gonna just say 10 million just to be nice. But the 10 million people, so they're not, so are they hardcore or are they not? Because you're telling me conflicting information. Like, as someone who is just involved in the ecosystem and just cares about gaming overall, you're telling me conflicting information. You can't tell me that, a hardcore buy at launch, but then the hardcore didn't even struggle to get over 1.1 million copies of Ratchet & Clank. Again, it's the same 10% that it always is.
Right.
What's the difference? There's no difference.
No.
Returnal, obviously, I don't know how much money they spent on Returnal, but it doesn't look cheap. Returnal doesn't look cheap, and it looks like a solid game. But it sold less than 500. It sold over 500,000 copies. That's not okay. That's not even 10%. You guys aren't buying the games, but you want them to constantly, but you want these AAA style games, whatever AAA means to you. That's what you want. But people aren't buying that. But that's all you want. Guess who's funding that?
To your point, Steel, just real quick to your point, and I don't mean to cut you off because you're on a roll. But to your point, again, that's why when we just listen, if all you do is sit in your bubble here on Twitter, and I don't care what side we're talking about, I don't care if you're talking about Nintendo
both
fanboys,
sides,
Xbox fanboys, Sony it doesn't matter. You get this opinion that everybody feels this way. You get this opinion that every Sony player only buys exclusives. That's all they gain, right? That's all it's about, is just the exclusives. But yet we see that again, as you were just explaining, that percentage is very small. That percentage is still, even out of what they consider the hardcore that may have gone out within the launch period here and bought that first 10 million or 7.5 million, whatever you want to say, that those are the hardcore Sony players that are always backing. So that's not true. That's not true. You guys here, your small bubble may be the guys who go out and buy every exclusive, but at the end of the day, you're only 10% of the base. You're only 10%. The other 10% is still buying PlayStation 5 to play third-party titles, Call of Duty, Madden, Fortnite. They're buying their PlayStation because their friends have them. They're buying the PlayStation because 90%. That's what they've known, right? Because PlayStation 4 was so dominant in the mind share.
PlayStation's been dominant, period.
Correct, period, for decades, right? But I'm just saying, if we're talking about the younger crowd that only has known PlayStation, right? That maybe never got out of that. They're the ones that are just playing third-party titles like everybody else does. But it's only that 10% that honestly care about the exclusives to the point where they live and die and breathe that whole mentality that we've got to have the exclusives. It's got to be, Sony's got them all. Sony's got the best ones. And we're all, that's why Sony's so powerful. No, it's not. Sony's powerful because they've been around for a long time. They've done good things for a very long time. They're a well-known brand. And in the gaming space, they carved out their spot. But that's not what people just buy the system for, is just the exclusives, the Ratchet & Clanks and Returnals. Those are still niche games that are only appealing to a certain percentile of you. That's it, period, at the end of the day. And it goes the same for Xbox. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So anyways, continue. Sorry. I just want
to I mean, but you're 100% right. I mean, you were going along that, riding that ball with me. Because that's exactly what it is. Like, this whole mentality that we have to be so stuck up in our own ass so you can only care about yourself if you want to talk about gaming is absurd to me. Because y'all aren't wanting to see the bigger picture. You don't want this to grow beyond what it's capped at. Because it's capped. It is. Microsoft, Nintendo, these people are starting to see that we can no longer, if we want things to continuously grow and get better and everything else, we cannot just depend on the 10%. Sure, that 10% could be a great number by whoever's standard. But I'll tell you this right now. 10% to anybody who's in a boardroom versus the other 90%, it's not a good number. You can care. I don't care. I don't care how long gaming has been doing. How long this has been a thing in gaming. Oh, as long as you hit 10%, that's all that matters. It's a good profit. I can tell you right now, they're in the boardroom trying to think of ways to make more money, to reach more people, how to access, how we can get more people to buy games. I know for a fact that that's what's going on.
You know what that means, Steel, and you know why that's what we've heard the rumors. Sony's board definitely is, and guess what they see? Oh, they see multiplayer games have more engagement.
Now you care about
time.
Now you care about multiplayer games all of a sudden.
Right.
Wow.
They're seeing that.
Right. That's crazy. You get a multiplayer game, you get more engagement. Man.
Right. And monetize it. Oh, that's where the money's coming in.
That's crazy. I never would have thought.
Money makers are free to play games out there.
Never would have thought. Never would have thought.
Right.
The games like League of Legends that make billions of dollars year over year.
Jesus. Yeah.
Free, and they're free to, these are free to play games that make billions of dollars year over year. Like, y'all have to do a little bit of research and to see that the games that are driving our industry are not your AAA games. These other games are allowing your favorite platform, whatever that might be, to make whatever games that they're making. It's the only thing that's keeping it alive. What's crazy to me is how people don't see that it's embarrassing that they let some nobody that all they're good at is services come in and actually establish themselves in the minds of the people. You cannot talk about PlayStation without talking about Xbox. You can't talk about Xbox without talking about PlayStation. And PlayStation's almost, what, 10 years older, 15 years older than Xbox is? Like, come on. Y'all been doing hardware for how long? The only thing sells is the PlayStation. Like, come on. Between insurance and PlayStation, what are we doing? like there's a bigger conversation to be had, and I don't understand the reasoning for people to feel like, oh, having a service is terrible, but you're paying for services month over month that you don't think twice about. Yep. But to give people access, to give people option to games that they otherwise would have not paid for, not had access to, that's the number one thing that matters. The fact that games like The Ascent can come into a service, just using it as an example, can come into a service, make $5 million, get more engagement they probably would have had normally for people that were like, I don't know, The Ascent, no, it's not really for me. Art of Rally, I don't know, maybe it's not for me. Dark Alliance, I don't know, it looks kind of off, I don't know. You're able to try it within your service at no additional cost to you other than your monthly fee. And for some reason, that's a problem. For some reason, that has to be fodder. You didn't look at Blockbuster that way. You didn't look at Hollywood Videos that way or any of your other rental services that way. You don't look at Netflix like that. You don't look at Hulu like that. You don't look at Disney Plus, who came out of nowhere and has 200 million subscribers because they could put content in their service. It's showing you and reiterating to you that this is where we're going.
Right.
We're moving more and more into the digital age than we have ever moved before. Ever.
And if you don't think that Sony's board right now is looking at those Returnal numbers and not calculating of how quickly they want to put it into PS Plus, I mean, you're crazy. They're going to eventually drop that in there, and then people will get to try it out.
More engagement than ever.
Right. And then some people will actually find out that they love that game, even though they didn't want to spend the $70 to try it out, and they're going to buy it. And Sony's going to continue to see those stats as they are probably already have been, and realize that it's beneficial to have a service that you can drop these games into, get eyes on it that normally would never have looked at it. And then you wind up with more sales because people are going to want to buy it. And that's how it's going to work, just like it has in Game Pass. It's continuously shown and proven that it works, and Sony's definitely looking at that, and it's a good thing that they probably are, because they need to.
And they should. They have every right to. Master Race says Sony can't afford to lose money. They can't invest in the service right now, and that could be the case.
Part of it.
That's sure. That could be 100% the case. But the problem with that is that their community doesn't want it anyway. They keep saying we don't want a we don't want a subservice. We don't want a subservice. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, we know that's not the case, because if you had access to it, you would be on the mountaintop saying, "Look, all these great games in my service."
They're just mad Xbox did it first. That's all.
You're doing it with PS Now that only has like 15 games in there that are really worth that you could tell your buddy about that they'd go in there and play. They're doing it now. Like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, of course, the older stuff. You got older. Yeah, you got access to the older content. But let's face it.
Yep.
Are you really going to get it? And it's different for different people, right? You have your own reasons of why you're investing in whatever ecosystem. The biggest thing for me is what benefits you the most. I've always told people when they say, hey man, what console you think I should get? Where your friends at? What games do you play? Not
and crossplay is going to change that too.
Crossplay will definitely change
that. Fights that. Yeah, exactly. And graphic God, you're right. It's the vocal minority. It's the bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a small bubble.
I mean, and that's what we're speaking to, because I can't just continuously allow these people to get on their shows or their platforms or wherever else and say this monotonous bullshit that they continue to say and not have any backing for it. Oh, it's just because of this, and this. Oh, it's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for me. It doesn't have to be good enough for you. That's why you're the 10%. They know the companies know that they can hit the 10%. That's guaranteed. Like, when they can release shit on a toilet and be like, yeah, buy that. And you're going to be like, it looks good to me. Might as well. I can clean it off later. It'll be all right. I'll get some Dawn soap and it'll be brand new.
Some cardboard.
Even cardboard. Like, people were literally buying $70 cardboard.
$100 cardboard.
$100. That's even worse. Like, they see this. Yeah. And it's the same thing that continues to happen. It's not about, I don't want to buy games. It's not about, there's this X amount of reasons. We've been buying games for so long. But I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure I can speak for Pong too. The ability of what Game Pass has done has allowed me to invest in games ahead of time faster than I ever would have before. I don't have to be on the fence. I don't have to feel like I wasted money. Right. You know what I mean? And that's a benefit. Because if there's a game that I'm invested in, I'm going to buy it regardless. So, if I'm interested in it, I'm going to buy it. It is what it is. I do it every time. But if I'm like, maybe, Game Pass is a benefit. Services like that are a benefit. I don't look at the movies in Netflix and be like, damn, none of these movies are worth my fucking time. Right. They're in the service. Like I either watch them or I don't. Like, they don't care either way. There's people who are watching those things because Netflix is growing too, more than it ever has, getting more people on the service than they ever had before. Content is king, and that's the biggest thing. You don't have to have one style of game. Nobody needs to make the other person's game. Just because Timmy made a fort doesn't mean that I need to make the same fort. Maybe I want to make a different fort. Maybe I want to make a castle. Maybe I want to make a tiny home. I don't know. Why does it got to be a fort? It doesn't have to be that. Just because Volkswagen makes Lamborghinis doesn't mean they can't make regular fucking Volkswagens. You know what I mean? Or that doesn't mean they can't make Audis or whatever else the case might be. Like, you can use whatever reference that you want to use. It doesn't mean that they can't do there's a reason for it. Right. Not everybody can afford a Lambo. Not everybody can, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody can afford Jordans. Not everybody can afford Adidas. Not everybody can afford Nikes or whatever else the case might be. Whatever your particular X brand you want to fit in this statement. Give people access. You want to grow the community, you want to grow the environment, you want to grow the ecosystem, give people access. Show people that there's a better way to do things. It's like teaching a dog, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's how I feel about Sony half the time. I know what I'm getting out of that, and that's cool. I can feel confident in that, but it doesn't speak to me enough for me to be constantly invested in that ecosystem, especially as a multiplayer gamer. Especially as someone who values variety, especially as someone who just values gaming in total. It's not about plastic. It's not about, my piece of plastic is better than yours. Who gives a fuck? Honestly, it doesn't matter. We're supposed to be here talking about it, having conversations, and getting people pulled away from real life and, just enjoying what we love. Play what you love what you play. Pong's 100% right on that, man. And that just leads with this whole conversation. Again, we're not in the business of trying to create a green version of somebody else's blue or red platform. And I'm pretty sure the other companies are doing the same thing. They're not trying to do that. What they're trying to do is make the next best free-to-play game. We can all agree there. That's what they're trying to do. What's the next thing we could put out for free that's going to make us $1 billion? Right.
Of course, it's business.
At the end of the day, I'm going to end this whole thing with this next statement because I feel like it's an important thing and it kind of touches on everything that we've talked about and kind of wraps it up too. And that's on the same Games Radar interview that they did. And Phil says this: for us to succeed, I don't think another company has to get smaller. I want the industry to grow and accelerate its growth. If you buy a Switch and you want to play Minecraft, and I happen to buy my kids a PlayStation, if they can't play together, that doesn't help gaming grow in my mind. That war might help one device win over another device, but it doesn't help the industry. I believe focusing on player joy, ease of play, and accessibility in the long run is the right strategy. And I think the industry will move in that direction because that's what gamers will demand. He says it right there.
Yep.
He obviously sees the bigger picture.
Couldn't be any more clear.
How can you misconstrue that?
You can't. As long as you read.
But it's neither here or there. You're going to feel how you want to feel about it. You want to make clickbait titles. You do what you want. You want to talk about BS. Talk about BS. To each their own. I have more respect for my community. I have more respect for gaming overall than to just cap, lie, put up a facade, or just go against the grain just to do it. Like, that makes no sense. Stand on what you are as a gamer, believe in what you believe in. Let's have these conversations. That's what we're here for. And let's move this industry forward. Because obviously we're not the number one. It's not the number one form of entertainment for no reason. We can't grow it if you guys want to be stagnant. It is what it is. Right. Shout out to everybody that has tuned into us live. Shout out to everybody who will be listening to this on the back end about an hour after the show posts. Man, for us to not really have had much prep time to jump in here just literally uncut. We're getting into some really heavy topics today.
The gods can't stop us, Steel.
The gods can't stop us, man. I don't know what it is. They tried to shut your internet off. They tried to stop me. OBS was crashing, but we're here. We're live, tuned in, locked in, and giving the people the work today, the gospel, the living split screen, live, raw, and uncut action that only me and you can provide, man. I don't think that can go understated, and hopefully the people are feeling that. Jago Coogan says, "Come on, Steel, lie to me, bro." I can't. This isn't the place for me this isn't the place. If you're coming for the lies, this isn't the place. I'm sorry. But just a shout out to chat again. Jago, Massive Wrecked, Lord Roughness. Who else we got? Graphic God is still in the building. Six Slayer, what's going on? Stanley Francois. I saw you in here, man. Yeah, definitely got to make sure I shot you out, Brody. It's Timmy.
Back
from the dead. Again, Heard Talk Venom's going up a little bit. If you guys are still here, locked in, listening to the Living Split Screen Morning Show that goes live every 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time on a Saturday. Let your people know about it. Let your mama know. Let your daddy know. Let your brothers know. Let your grandmom know. And
don't forget the neighbors.
And if you're not going to tell them, you need to go outside right now, knock on your neighbor's door and say, look, Living Split Screen is live right now. Are you not watching? It's your best part of your Saturday morning. Smitty Smith, what's going on?
Smitty!
Talk to your neighbors. Smitty, you preach the gospel. HTK, y'all preach the gospel. Tell your neighbors about it. Tell the neighbors about us. But with that being said, man, excellent topic. I feel like we always get deep down into the nitty gritty when we get the conversation like that brought up.
Always.
You know, I feel like there's just a bigger picture at hand. What else we want to get into, man? What you think would be another great topic for us to dive into, man? Got the GTA. You want to talk about the GTA stuff?
Sure.
This might last another hour. This might be where we ended, and we might cut it short. Who knows? But I know you talked about a little bit last night on Xbox Ultimate with the Magnificent Seven. Shout out to y'all. About this whole GTA thing. I have some strong feelings about this, and I know that you were excited, and you hit me up in the DMs and was like, "Yo, you know,
it made me smile."
You said, yeah, exactly. You said that it made you smile, and there was something that you were interested in. And I heard most of your thoughts last night that you're the guy for nostalgia, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to jump back into Vice City, hop on the bike, listen to those tunes, and ride out into the night like the night rider that you are. But with that being said, how do you feel about this whole GTA remastering thing? I believe that they're trying to do Vice City, San Andreas, and
Vice City and San. Yep, correct. Yep.
So with that being said, how do you like? Well, not, and I'm not gonna say like. What do you think about this whole thing? This whole remaster thing, because we have been on a remaster spree here recently, and you know, with Grand Theft seemingly taking advantage of everything that Grand Theft Auto 5 is doing with the online and everything else like that. And I know you're not a big online dude. It's going to be one of the angles that I end up coming from. But how do you feel about this whole remaster thing, man? I know you got some excitement for it, but talk to the people.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love it. I think it's a good thing. I don't think I'll call it for what it is. It's a cash grab. Again, they're not remastering these from the ground up. There's no way they had the time to do 3 Grand Theft Autos from the ground up. So what they're going to do is they're going to, again, we heard yesterday that possibly Unreal Engine is involved, that they're going to move, it's going to be, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it. If this is straight up just like the mods that we've seen for Grand Theft Autos in the past, which you can go view online. People definitely done a lot of work on them. They look good. They look good. And if that's what they did, is basically just take what the modding community did and throw them in these games and put them back out there, I'm cool with it. Again, Vice City is my all-time favorite Grand Theft Auto. I have not been on 5. I'm not a 5 fan. It's just, again, maybe I got Grand Theft Auto'd out. Grand Theft Auto was huge for me back in the day. So 3, Vice City and San Andreas are some of probably my biggest memories of Grand Theft Auto, right? It was at the time when Grand Theft Auto was doing stuff that you just couldn't do in most video games. It was a time when you popped that game in and you knew you were going to experience a world that you couldn't really get anywhere else. So for me, that's my nostalgia, right? That's my what I go back to when I think about Grand Theft Auto. And so for me, yes, I will play them again. Yes, I will indulge myself. Yes, I will give to the money train that is Rockstar right now and let them go ahead and take me for what it's worth. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? I just, again, with Vice City, the music is the most important thing.
Oh, yeah.
They have to have the licensed music soundtrack. They have to have every single song that was a part of that incredible box set, which you could actually buy back in the day.
Yeah.
They have to have that, because that is the deal. Hopping on my motorcycle, driving down the beach with flock of seagulls playing in the background. Those I want to relive those again, and to be able to put them onto a high definition, my OLED screen, with some updated visuals. And like I said last night, if they can improve the controls, because it is clunky, that's the problem with old games, always being clunky, especially when you try to play them now and what we've been able to do now. That for me is the big thing. So if they work that out and if they bring the controls up to date at all, for me, it's going to be worth it. It might not be for everybody, and I'm totally cool with that. I get it. I hope people will support it, because I think Rockstar, just like everybody else, is looking at remasters right now with a high probability. And I certainly would love to see, Bully get remastered. I think that's a game that more people should experience.
People have been asking for it too. That's the thing.
Correct. Again, with Rockstar, I have a love-hate relationship. A lot of the old people, the old guard, are gone. Fuzzy Fuzzy was all up in our chat last night, reminding me of all that. And yes, you're right. Without Dan Houser and those guys, it's not the same Rockstar anymore. Again, Rockstar back in the day for me was one of those developers and publishers that were like putting out, in 1 year, like on a good year, like you could have 5-6 games come out, right? Oni's another one. I threw out Oni on Twitter a couple months back and said, you cowards, do this, bring it back, take 1 month's worth of revenue from your online and bring back something like Oni, because those are the memories I have. And Rockstar was doing creative things, obviously Midnight Club is something that people have been, and that probably was why they were pursuing Codemasters, was to bring back Midnight Club. So I hope they continue. I hope they find a developer to do that for them, because Midnight Club was huge back in the day. It was another, I know we have a lot of racers, but Midnight Club was different. Midnight Club brought a different feel. It was different from Need for Speed. It was different from the Gran Turismos back then. It brought something.
Midnight Club was dope.
Yeah, special to the table. And I think they could do it again. So do it, Rockstar. I just want to see Rockstar get back to that. I know they're not going to. They're printing money. Why would they? I don't blame them. Again, when you get down to business, now you have investors involved. When you get this big, and you have Take-Two, of course they're not going to do all this stuff. They're not going to be creative. They're going to do what prints them money. And we've seen Activision do this time and time again. We've seen EA do this time and time again. All the big publishers, they do this, right? They get into a mode where it's just like, hey, why are we going to break outside of what we know? So again, for me, bringing back something from the good old, the golden age of Rockstar, like these 3 games are, especially for me, Vice City and San Andreas. I can't tell you how much time I put into both of those. For me, that's cool, and I'm going to buy it. So, again, I can't believe that it's coming out of nowhere, and they're talking about like this fall, like release, like that's crazy, that they're going to pump it out that soon. I thought this was going to be 2022, but they're talking this fall. Next up on the list though, I don't know if you guys can see it.
It's more so because of your background.
It's my background, my stupid background. Anyways, I am holding the original director's cut before director's cut were all the rage. I am holding up the director's cut of Grand Theft Auto, the original, and the GTA London 1969. You cowards, Rockstar, bring those back. I don't even care if you leave them top down. I don't even care if you leave it that way. Bring those back. Bring them in high definition. Let me play them on my OLED, because I love that stuff.
That's petty.
Yeah, those are for the hardcore old guys who knew what Grand Theft Auto was before it turned into what it is now. But anyways, no, I'm about it, Steel. Again, nostalgia. I know you're going to come from a different angle probably, but for me, again, I think it's cool anytime publishers, studios, developers go back into the history of video games and bring them forward, no matter what they are. Again, it's going to allow people who probably have heard about Vice City, and they might look at it and be like, well, why didn't they update this? This looks horrible. And I get that. But at the same time, they might jump into it and say, wow, now I know why some of the older gamers love Vice City so much. The music, the atmosphere, the story was freaking amazing. I can see why they did this, and maybe there'll be a clambering. And 3-Bit brought up a good idea, and I think you might go into this too, Steel. So I'll let you talk on it last night. But they might link this. This might be a link to the online. This might be like an expansion for the online as well. They might be reintroducing these to expand out the online, bring new cities in, bring new feels to the online. And I think that's a perfect idea. Again, just looking at it from a business strategy point of view, I think it'd be a cool idea to somehow incorporate Vice City and San Andreas into your online gameplay. However you're going to do it, give that feel of those older games to the online. I think a lot of people would enjoy that as well. But go ahead, Still. Tell me, brother, what do you think? Are you down for this? Are you going to maybe not? Doesn't tickle your nostalgia feelings like it tickles mine, but do you think it has a place? Do you think that this is something that interests you?
To be completely honest, the biggest reason I'm going to say I don't think that it has a place is because they're going to release half-baked content that they obviously have the money to do better with. unless this is something that they have been working on for the last few years in the background and have been using the funds that they've been getting from their $83 million a month just last year from GTA 5 Online. I just did the math because GTA 5 Online generated about $1 billion in revenue in 2020. $83 million a month that they're making off of GTA. And if they come out and release a half-baked GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas with very minimal work, I feel like that's a slap in the face of the gamer. That doesn't get me excited to be invested in the GTA 6. That does nothing for me. And this is something, and this is me speaking to somebody who was invested in GTA 5, who enjoyed GTA 5 story, who enjoyed the online play, who have been playing GTA 5 since the Xbox 360. We're going into 3 generations of GTA 5 with nothing else being released from this damn company, and is doing nothing but proving to me that they're just money hungry. This game has worked for them, and they're taking it into the grave and just releasing more content. There has been mods, especially on PC, that show the potential of what GTA 5 could look like or what it could be. Realism. Superman mod is dope. That Superman mod is dope. I ain't gonna lie. The Iron Man mod is dope too. I saw this Godzilla mod. Oh, that was dope as fuck too.
Really?
Like, yeah, they got a Godzilla. Like it looks like Godzilla and everything. Like you got the laser beams and everything. But anyway, like GTA 5 could have been what Fallout has been with like the mods and everything, but they won't allow that. They only allowed it on PC, really, mainly. You know what I mean? And it has so much more potential than what they've kind of capped it out to be. Like you keep rebaking this and selling it back to the consumer and saying, oh, it's new, it's updated. And it's not. It's the same shit. And I'm tired of it, man. Like, I'm tired of people, like, of us being so consumed about, oh, it's just because it's GTA, we need to buy it. No, man, stop. This is why we can't get GTA 6. Like,
look, I'm not contributing to 5, so don't put me in that.
No, and I feel that. And I feel
I
that.
may contribute to this.
And I feel that. But I just feel like it's just I feel like it's a misnomer. I feel like it's a misstep that they can release 3 Vice City and San Andreas. San Andreas is probably the best GTA for me personally overall, just because of everything that it incorporated. It made you actually feel alive in the city. If you ate too much, you got fat. If you worked out, you got struck. If you didn't eat, you got super skinny. If you rode a bike a lot, you stayed slender or whatever the case might be. There was a lot of things that affected the world and just the overall the game, the story, and the overall ecosystem in the game that were extremely impactful for me, that I feel like if they did a proper remaster, gave it like the GTA 5 treatment per se.
Yeah, like the Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah, or like the Mass Effect trilogy. If they really took it to that next level, that this game could really, you would give the people something to sit on until you got a chance to make this, your GTA 6. But I don't feel like they're going to do that. And I feel like that's what's bothering me more about this entire situation more than anything else. And that people are going to invest in this and they're just going to think that this shit is okay. Like they can just keep doing this half-baked shit and then it's just gonna slide off. It's like I don't understand it. Now, again, like people like yourself, Pong, where he's like, nostalgia. It is what it is. I understand that. I mean, that's why we do this thing in gaming. That's why we tell you guys about upcoming games, because all these things are important, right? If you're invested into it, you're invested in it. I'm not going to be the guy to sit here and say, oh, don't do it. But I'm also the same guy that'll sit here and say, speak with your wallet. I'm not going to invest in Call of Duty. Call of Duty Vanguard looks trash. I'm just going to say it. It just looks like something I don't want to play. You're going back in time. I don't want to play it. But that's the main thing for me, though, for like GTA and why I'm not necessarily investing into it. Where, like you say, it's more than nostalgia for you. I've already played these stories, and I'm not the guy to go back and replay these stories. I did that back in the day, and cheat codes were the only reason why I would continuously play these games. You'd beat the story, and then you now would go into GTA just to cause mayhem. Put in a bunch of G codes, call in a random jet in the middle of the street, take off in the jet, blow up a bunch of shit, have 5-star cops chasing you all through the city, because that's what made it exciting. You know what I mean? After that, there's nothing else really to do. And to this day, like this day and age, I am not going to go in and replay these stories that I've already played. Especially if you're not going to take advantage of, you know, current day graphics, the mods, and everything else that has been, you know, kind of in addition to what we're used to nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's my biggest thing. Again, like you said, I mean, even you said up front, it's a cash grab.
It's a cash grab.
It's exactly what it is.
It's a cash grab from a company that doesn't need a cash grab. Jesus.
You're making $83 million a month. like, I want y'all to think about that. Plus, you're making $83 million a month. Plus, you don't need this. You could just say, "Oh, GTA 6 will come out. We'll make an announcement 2 years from now." People are like, "Yeah, GTA 6, yeah." You don't need this. But biggest thing for me, as long as you can notice, as long as you can acknowledge, yeah, man, it's a cash grab. Then I feel like that's more so the important thing, because at least you could tell other people who may be interested in this, hey man, understand that this is a cash grab, that you don't need this, and that this may not be optimized in the way that you want it to be optimized. That PC is still getting a better version that you're going to get. I know people like to do that. Oh, you're not getting the best version of this game. I mean, I don't see why they don't unlock mods for people to allow people to get better versions of the game, because that's what you're getting on PC. You're getting these realism mods where GTA 5 is looking more realistic than it ever has before, or looks like a current gen game with these mods that these people go in and really put the work in to make them look updated. And I feel like if they're not going to take it to
bring
that
it back
level,
to the Phil article, but also in that article he talked about the importance of having content creation from the community.
Yeah,
and how he thinks that's a big part of the future.
Look at Fallout.
Yeah, and he wants to give that ability, which it sounds like he wants to open it up on console as well, which would be sweet. So sorry, I didn't digress, but
no, yeah, I mean that's a fact.
You're absolutely
we
correct.
should, and we should. The community drives gaming. Hey, it's done it for Halo. It's done it for Call of Duty. It's done it for Gears. It's done it for any other.
Forza is now going to give you the ability. So
you know what I'm saying? Like these Fallout. I always look at Fallout as the biggest one to look at, because they really like promote that. That's something that they're like, hey, here's the mods.
The game better than the devs do.
100%, 90% of the time, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or games like Elder Scrolls. People put these mods in here, like you could get Thomas the Train in Skyrim. Like, who else is doing this? The devs aren't doing that. You know what I mean? But you can get Smog in Skyrim, like from Lord of the Rings. Like, there's so many options that really open it up, and they've done the same things with GTA. And I just feel like not giving that access. Like, I would rather have that. Just if you're gonna do that, then give me those games with full accessibility to mods, right? Just so you could really take full advantage of those games and really enjoy them for what they were. Again, gaming is art and should be treated as such. If you want to re-release those games, sure. But as long as we know, we can talk, have a conversation and start off the conversation by, hey, this is a cash grab. I feel like we can move forward from there, because that's what it is. And I just feel like it's a missed opportunity, man, at least from how I look at it. But overall, I really don't care. It's whatever. If y'all are interested in it, I hope it's going to be everything that you guys want it to be. It just turns me off.
Well, it's not going to be everything we want it to be, because I'd much rather your vision than anything, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, again, for me, it's always like it's either half empty or half full, right? There's two ways to look at it. Like, they could never put out something like that again. Like, they could just never do it, right? Or they could put out something, even if it is halfway. At least we get something, right? So there's two ways to look at it. And I know we should all demand better, but a company like Take-Two, Rockstar, they don't have to do anything, right? They don't have to do a damn thing. They can continue to print money, because like you said, Steel, until people stop supporting Grand Theft Auto 5, they're not going to make Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm sure they're in pre-production, but they're not going to put it out. They have no rush to put it out. There's no reason for them to put it out at all. But again, if this is what they're going to give us, my nostalgia says I'm just going to take what they're giving us, and it's probably going to bring a smile to my face. Is it going to be everything I want? No. And I know what it is and why they're doing it. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have something than not be able to play Vice City again ever again.
I feel that.
So for me, that's where I'm at with certain things. Again, not everything, but that's where I'm at with
and I feel that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, man. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I just people always talk about, oh, we should expect more from these companies,
we should,
we and then we fall for stuff like this.
Yeah, but you're right, exactly, because these companies again, I'm not going to say everybody, because there's people within the companies that care, that make the games, that they're pouring their heart and soul into something that they do care about. But at the end of the day, the people at the top, do they really care? No, not all of them. Not all of them in any way, shape, or form. It's business.
Make the money.
It's money.
Mm-hmm.
It's investors. That's all it is. It's money. If this industry didn't make money, those people would not be there. Right? That's what it is at the end of the day.
100%. And they're going to do it, make some money. I mean, the same way that these companies are starting to look at and say, oh, we don't know if we're going to be able to invest in indie games as much anymore because we need to focus on our AAA bangers. Y'all take that as you will. Look, man, another interesting conversation. I know we weren't going to go forever on that, but we did have some strong opinions on it. Again, we just always want people to understand there's this expectation we have for gaming overall, and we want to continuously push that ball forward. Fun Speculation says, I like remasters if they put a lot of work into it, not just update it to unlock potential that's already there. And I mean, and I feel that. It's kind of the song along the same lines that I'm on with it. It's like if they released Gears 2 and 3 and just said, hey, man, here you go. We're not going to do nothing else to it. It plays at 60 now, 120. That's it. Nothing else. I mean, now I would like that, but would everybody else like that? Maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, I could get that somewhere else. Mass Effect definitely set a standard for me. Another thing Fun Speculation said, and I agree with that too. From somebody that didn't play the original in 2006 and then was able to play the trilogy here this year when it came out with the Legendary Edition, I'm 100% that. I'm 100 right there on that same boat. What they did with the Mass Effect trilogy and just Mass Effect overall shows you dev talent. Right? Not only that, but these games still mean something to this day. Again, as someone who's newer to that series, I enjoyed the series from top to bottom. You know what I mean? And now I feel like I could be part of that circle that thinks that Mass Effect is one of the greatest series to ever exist, because it is. But that's neither here or there. Man, I had some excellent conversations today. I feel like we really poured out our heart and soul into a lot of the things we talked about, especially with the whole Phil Spencer conversation, us with the earlier conversation with the potential gaming tats and anime tats that we would get into, and even with the upcoming games, man. Again, we just had a lot of conversation, maybe, and even talking talking about what's going on with a little bit with what's going on privately and what we've been going through in the background, gaming wise. So that's been an interesting thing. J.O. Coogan says, most of these gaming companies copy what they see makes money because they're all about the bottom line and not the gamer. Again,
see Ubisoft. That's the definition right now.
Yeah, and we'll see what Ubisoft decides to do with Assassin's Creed. I mean, we've heard some things in the background, and we'll see.
It's
again, the biggest thing that I was hoping from Ubisoft is if you're going to start looking at multiplayer side of things, just do it right. You don't have to take away nothing. Just give the OGs something more of what they want. Go back to that original Assassin's Creed formula that was great. You know what I mean? The actually being an assassination based game, actually being Assassin's Creed versus just being an action game. If you're just going to be an action game, just say, oh, it's an action game. You know what I mean? Like just Give a difference to the people. And if you're going to add, co-op to that or whatever the case, just do it right, man. If you're not going to give me freaking Splinter Cell, at least take care of some other fronts for me, please. That's all I'm asking for. But but it is what it is. With that being said, man, Pong, is there anything else that you kind of want to touch on before we get into these upcoming games, man?
Uh, just real quick
Go
here.
ahead.
We did have two showcases this week as well. And I think we'd be remiss not to just quickly touch on both of them. So we had ID at Xbox did another showing.
Right.
Not a whole lot of new stuff coming out of there. There was a couple of cool new little indie titles. So I suggest that anybody just go grab it. Again, they did the whole Twitch thing. Again, it wasn't a great format. I don't know why they've decided to go this route, but they have. I don't know if they signed some kind of contract with Twitch to do this stuff, but again, it does not make for good viewing. Let's put it that way, at all. When you're trying to show, again, I understand the concept. I appreciate how much effort Xbox is going into promoting indies, as we've seen from other places. It's not the same. Nintendo and Xbox are really pushing indies. Nintendo always has. Xbox has definitely learned from the past and is definitely pushing their indies, and it's great because indies are driving the industry in a lot of ways right now, which is fantastic. But coming out of ID at Xbox real quick, just a couple of the highlights. Stardew Valley, which is a big hit everywhere it's been. Stardew Valley is one of those relaxing farm simulator type games. It's coming to Game Pass, so they announced it fall this year.
Wow.
And it's big, whether we realize it or not. Stardew Valley is huge. So it's totally cool that it's coming to Game Pass. Again, will I download it? Yeah, I'll download it. I'll pop it in and play it. I try everything, so I'll definitely be trying it. So that was cool. I'll touch on this game. It's not a game for everybody by any stretch of the imagination, but I did play it for about an hour. Library of Runa. This is a indie title. It is as Japanese as you can get when it comes to a game, from the story to the music to the whole premise. It is ridiculousness. It is craziness. It is wow out there. It is a card battle game with RPG aspects to it. But man, the story is so far out there. I love it, right? So it is, for me, it's one of those games. I don't know how much I'm going to play of it. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but man, is it cool. It's really cool. Library of Runa. It's on Game Pass. Go check it out. It dropped this week. It was definitely out of the blue kind of shadow drop situation. So definitely go check it out. It's something just to look at. Again, if you're not in the card battling systems, you're not going to like it. But at the end of the day, again, just go watch the intro and listen to the story in the beginning, and you'll probably be like, what the hell is this? So
I got gameplay playing right now of it and whatnot.
Yeah, it's crazy. Also, two other ones that caught my attention. Lightyear Frontier, another sim style game, but you got mechs. And you're trying to build in the world and trying to grow out your place within this planet. And you got to fight things. Things are trying to attack as well. The art style, again, very visually stunning. The color palette, amazing. So a Lightyear Frontier looks kind of cool. It looks like it's got a chance at being something. And then The Wandering Village was another one. And this is another sim game. Lots of sim games coming, which I love. The Wandering Village, you're kind of traveling on this back of this dinosaur, like a piece of the world is on the back of this dinosaur, and you're trying to build out your your town or whatever, while this thing's walking through the world, and you're going through different environments which obviously affect you. Kind of cool. Go check that one out as well. So those are the ones that caught me from ID at Xbox. And then we also had the Nintendo Indie World showcase. So that one, I don't know. People said that it looked really good. There was some stuff in there. Really, there was only one that caught my attention, and that was Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Cyberfunk, excuse me. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. That thing, go check it out. Any of you Jet Set radio
It looks exactly like
lovers. This is the spiritual successor in every way except for name. So Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Right now, it's only announced, I believe, for PC and Switch. However, there is some talk out there that it will be coming to PlayStation and Xbox as well at some point. So hopefully we get some announcements on that. But Bomb Rush Cyberfunk looks absolutely awesome because I am a Jet Set Radio freak from back in the day, and I've wanted a new one forever. And this team right here has just taken all of it and they're running with it. So it looks great. Really like to see that one. I don't think there was anything else in Nintendo show. Axiom Verge 2. That was also released, kind of a shadow release. Axiom Verge 2. Anybody who didn't try the first Axiom Verge, go check that out. I believe it was in Game Pass for a while. I don't think it is anymore. I could be wrong. Anybody knows, correct me. But Axiom Verge is a cool Metroidvania style game, very reminiscent of the old classic days, but very good. Again, I'm not a biggest platformer in the world, so I play them for a little bit and then get off of them. But anybody interested, Axiom Verge 2 came out and it looks fantastic. So that's what came out in Nintendo Indie World. So I just want to touch on those real quick.
Perfect. And I definitely got some gameplay for y'all running in the background for those games. If y'all caught that, I got an Action Verge running right here. As you were kind of talking about them, I was making sure, trying to pull them up for you, so people can at least look at them to see what they were. Man, I feel like that's important to get those across, just in case people might have missed out on that. Interesting things, none that I'm particularly interested in, but that's okay. Again, everything doesn't have to be for everybody. You know, every game isn't for every gamer, like the homie Boom says. And then you got to play what you love and love what you play, like my brother Pong says, man. So, but with that being said, as we're getting to that 3-hour mark, and just so Anchor doesn't get mad about us having to split up shows, because if I got to, it's not that big of a deal. You just get half portions and it just get the show breaking up. But I mean, other than that, I mean, there hasn't been much else going on this week. There has been some things that are up and down, nothing really more so to touch on that I necessarily feel like is super important to talk to the people about. But if you guys in the chat, man, if you got something that we want to touch, that you think we should touch on, holler at us, talk to us, let us know, hit us in the DMs. We are more than excited to do that. Also, again, week by week, we do want to incorporate the community more and more into, on our conversations and whatnot. Hit us up throughout the week. If there's something that you want to hear Living Split-Screen talk about on your Saturday morning, let us know. Hit us in the DMs. Let us know in the comments. Say, yo, I really think you guys should touch on this, coming up. Hey, and we'll touch on it, throw it into the show, and give our thoughts on it. Because I mean, apparently you guys like to hear what we got to say. So, but with that being said, again, shout out to everybody here that's tuned in, locked in, and live with us. Shout out to the people who are listening to us on the back end. Are going to listen to this on the audio platforms, man. I should have this uploaded about an hour right after the show goes live. So stay tuned for that if you're waiting for that. But with this being said, I am now going to move into our This Day in Gaming segment, where I go back.
Make me feel old segment.
That too. But where I go back within the last 30 years of gaming and just shine some light on what people may have forgotten, or just to show people where we've come from. You're going to go through these games, hear some of these titles, and be like, damn, I never heard of that game. You'll look it up and you'll see how far gaming has come. Gaming is art and should be treated as such. And it's just, we forget where we come from, man. You know what I mean? Like, people get so caught up in, oh, this doesn't have ray tracing, or this isn't at ultimate settings, or whatever else the case might be. And sometimes you got to go back and look at those 8-bit graphics that you don't remember playing for some reason. So, with that being said, let's get into that. So, on this August 14th, this day in gaming, we have 1989, you had on the Genesis, Altered Beast in the Genesis had Genesis, released in 1989. Shout out to y'all who might have remembered that. I believe I've played Altered Beast before on emulation before, so that's interesting.
If you haven't played Altered Beast,
I believe I have. I believe I have.
Altered Beast is a classic.
I believe I have. I've definitely made. There was a lot of games I was made sure to play through, especially through emulation. But 98 Nintendo 64 released Mission Impossible. I don't remember that. I don't remember that releasing. I don't remember that game. But
64. So,
but whatever the case might be. 2002, you had PlayStation release Capcom versus SNK Pro, one of the classic fighters from back in the day. So we definitely got to give you shout outs to that. I know K Mega would love that. 2003, PlayStation 2 released Monster Rancher 4 in Japan. Shout out to all the Monster Rancher fans. 2007 was an interesting year, it looks like. PSP released Dungeons and Dragons Tactics.
Yes.
Shout out to the Dungeons and Dragons fan.
Yeah, absolutely, right here.
There you go. DS released Luminous Arc. Not familiar with that. One of the better Maddens from back in the day. PlayStation 2, 3, and Xbox 360 all released Madden NFL 08.
Back when it was actually good, kind of.
Yeah, when they actually cared a little bit. Yeah. The DS released Rune Factory, a fantasy harvest moon. Not familiar with that title, but
Rune Factories, yeah, they've been around for a long time. Good games.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 released Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3. Shout out to
bring them to Xbox.
Shout out to Shin Megami fans. Facts.
Bill, bust into Atlas's doors. I don't care what you got to do. Grab him by the throat. Get us Persona.
I will recommend you go grab him by the throat. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I'm not promoting violence. It's figuratively speaking.
No, facts.
Hit him with a bag full of money, Phil.
There you go. Hit him with a bag full of money. Nobody will complain about that. Then in 2009, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 both released Madden NFL 10. There's that. Again, 2 years later, they were on point. They were on that 14th date. Then the Wii released Phantom Brave, We Meet Again. Not familiar with that, but 2012, PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 released Darksiders 2. Excellent game. I love the Darksiders series.
Love Darksiders.
Love Darksiders. I love what they do in that, the whole play that they do with that, with the Four Horsemen and whatnot. I love it. PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 released Sleeping Dogs, another excellent game.
Yes.
Sleeping Dogs is definitely one of those
underrated.
It is
110%. Always on sale for like $5. Buy it if you haven't bought it.
Play it, please. It's worth it.
It is a GTA like clone, but it's
worth it.
But it's so worth it. The fighting alone is worth it. So go buy that. Yeah.
Sleeping Dogs is an amazing game. Then the Wii released The Last Story. Not familiar with that, but all right. It was obviously The Last Story. I haven't heard of another story since. 2013, Xbox 360 released Charlie Murderer. Not Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. The Murderer. So there's that. 2014, Wii U released Hyrule Warriors in Japan. All right. Hyrule Warriors was a solid game. But I don't remember the Japan release. 2018 on PlayStation 4.
Did you already say The Last Story?
Yes, I said The Last Story.
Oh, you must have blanked out during that. Did you don't know about The Last Story?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, that's by Sakaguchi, Mistwalker.
Oh, okay.
Sakaguchi is one of the original creators of Final Fantasy, obviously, and he did Blue Dragon and Last Odyssey for Xbox 360. Last Story is one of his babies.
Okay.
One of the few Wii games that I touched.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, we know why that was The Last Story.
No, he's still making games. He just made another mobile game too. So it's just supposed to be fantastic.
Well, he has more stories that you guys should check out if you're interested.
For Apple, he's working for Apple now.
Hey, mobile gaming, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Then in 2018, PlayStation 4 released Death's Gambit. Not familiar with that game? Not really interested. But for those of you who might have played it, shout out to y'all. Then they also released The Walking Dead, the Telltale series, the final season. For those who are into the Telltale series games, not really into that. But I know people who were and actually enjoyed it. So shout out to y'all, man. Much love. Then in 2020, just this last year, PlayStation 4 released EA Sports UFC 4.
Oh yeah.
And with that being said, that is your This Day in Gaming segment. That's all I got to say about UFC. I'm not a huge UFC fan. Again, it's not one of those fighting games that I really get into. I just don't. Yeah, I don't even think it's that necessarily the patience. I just don't have any interest in it. I'd rather see, another Fight Night come out. Fight Night was like my choice.
Oh yeah, by far.
I'd much rather play Fight Night. That was much more of an amazing experience to me. Going into a slugfest with your friends, or your friends finding out there's ways to knock out people faster than they probably should get knocked out. There was just a lot of more. I don't know. For me, there was a lot more fun to be had in Fight Night. I'm looking forward to that. What was it, EBC Champions or whatever the case might be? I think it was called. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. That'd be a fighting game that I really want to jump back into. But with that being said, that was your This Day in Gaming segment. Again, where we go back 30 years in the gaming and just give y'all some something to reminisce on and just show y'all where we came from. But with that being said, this is the end of the Living Split Screen morning show, giving you that live, raw, authentic, organic nature that only me and Pong can bring. And man, we didn't know how we were going to lead into this. The guys seemed like they were going against the grain and trying to fight us. And, really
even get off the ground.
They looked like they were going to knock us out before we even got started. But again, we're almost 3 hours in. Don't know how we do it again, but we're doing it consistently, man. It's a thing for us.
Thanks,
right?
Obi. Yeah, you correct Steel anytime you need to. And Fuzzy, ESBC.
Oh, ESBC, my fault. Yeah. I apologize.
Get it right, bro.
Like I said, hey, correct me. Let me know. ESBC, my fault. What is it? Electronic Sports Boxing Club? Was that supposed to be what it is?
You're digging yourself deeper.
Yeah. but nonetheless, I am for another Fight Night type game to come out. I am interested in that. So, but yeah. Anyway, we're at the end of the show. Appreciate everybody who was here, tuned in, locked in, live with us, right here where we go live every 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. UK time. And then we'll go live on the audio platforms on about an hour after the show post. So, with that being said, Pong. Another Saturday morning, episode 20 is in the bag, or double X, as some might say. How you feeling, man? What you thinking? And go ahead and lead these people out to victory, man.
Hey, the big 2-0 is in the books, man. And I didn't even know we were going to get off the ground, brother. So, again, to have the 2-0 go off like this, 3 hours, you and I rocking and rolling. Man, that feels good, especially with your addiction. I'm just glad you made it here today. That's always a scary thing. Again, chat,
goodness.
I'm sure some of you know how I feel whenever you got a family member with addiction, and I'm not making light of it. It is a scary thing. It is a very, very scary thing. I've been through it both ways, but man, my brother Steele's got it bad right now with Destiny 2.
I blame my brother. I do blame my brother for that. 100%.
No, man. Great show. As always, Steel, thank you, man, for everything that you do behind the scenes.
Thank you, man.
Every week, man. Every week, especially with all that you got going on as well. Again, real life. At chat, everybody listening out there who does follow me on Twitter, you've seen me quiet. It's probably going to be that way for the foreseeable future with work, the way things are going. I will be back. I actually turned down 2 shows this past week, which I never do. Shout out to everybody who hit me up in the DMs asking me to come on, but man, I couldn't even pull that off. So, and for me, it's bad. So I love doing shows. Anyways, Pong Soul everywhere. You guys know the drill. No Shop Podcast. Shop Podcast is on hiatus. Shout out to PTK Blam. Again,
much love.
We're just talking about real life, man. Takes precedent, and you got to do what you got to do. We'll all be here when you get back, brother. I can't wait to get back on the Shop Podcast, but man, I hope everything's going well for you. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but man, again, sometimes you got to put your priorities, man. So
Thanks.
That's what it is. So again, I won't be on the Shop Podcast tonight, but will be back on Xbox Factor Podcast next Tuesday. I had to take this last week off. I'll be back on with Mr. Boomstick. Shout out to Boom, who was in here earlier. Of course, Zemi Games 3-bit should be with us this week. He is a permanent panel member, and he should be his schedule should be good to go. So we will have him on. So we'll have an awesome show on Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central. Otherwise, Friday nights, you guys know the drill. Xbox Ultimate, as always, Magnificent 7 over on Fun Speculation. Shout out to Mav, who popped in here as well. And of course, his amazing wife, Caitlin, who was in here already,
Nice.
and the rest of the crew, my family over there, my extended family. We will be back 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central time on Friday nights. And then Big 21, we're going to be legal to drink next week. Steve.
Yeah, we are.
So, that's a good thing. So a Living Split Screen episode 21 next Saturday. You guys know it, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. UK time, where only you can find this kind of talk between myself and Steel, even when it goes for 3 hours plus with no prep. So that's how we do it on pro podcasting. But chat, you guys are all amazing. Love you all. Nothing but love and respect for each and every single one of you coming out here. Again, I'm sorry I haven't been around a lot. I know some of you guys in the chat not used to not seeing me in the chats everywhere, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I got to take care of business first, because that's what pays the bills and that's what's important. So got to do that stuff, but I love you all. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Thank you for being here and starting your weekend off with us, as always. And you know what, like we always say, play what you love what you play, because it is truly the golden age of gaming. If you don't know that by now, I can't sell you on it anymore. All you got to do is look at what's in Game Pass and look at what's coming that we just know about. And this is the best time to ever be a gamer. But still, my hype man, the man behind the scenes who runs everything, the man behind the curtain, the man who, even when he wakes up late, comes in here with the energy that it takes to get this thing going and to get my day going as well. Man, missed you all week. It's great to be here with you, but tell the people where they can always find you, sir.
Look, man, like I tell y'all week by week, if you got a search bar and you can type in I Steel Rain I, the T is a 7, you will more than likely find me. Whether it's on Twitter, you're on Xbox, you're on PC, you're on PlayStation, I don't care where you're at. Even with me not having a PlayStation, you will probably find me right there. But with all serious, look, you can find me right here every Saturday morning, right here on the Living Split Screen Morning Show, giving you that live, raw, uncut, authentic, organic nature that only we can bring you. And with that being said, man, that's kind of my life right now. Other than that, I'm hungry. I'm a hungry man. It's like Pong was saying, it was a late start to the morning. It was a late start. Definitely was. I wanted to wake up early, and I didn't wake up early.
To be real, he's just making up for all the times I've done that. So hey, look, trust me.
Maybe that's what it was. Low key. Maybe that's what I'm doing. Low key. No, that's not what it was. I meant to get up early, and I did. But I'm glad that we were actually. Hey man. If it wasn't for our authenticity, if it wasn't for our organic nature, I don't know where we would be at, because obviously we still pulled out a 3-hour show, minimal prep. And hey man, if this isn't organic for you, I don't know what you guys want. I don't know what anybody wants anymore then, if that's the case. But with that being said, much love to everybody who continues to show up and support us week by week. Hopefully, we can really work ourselves to a point where we can, really set aside the time and really focus in on this, because this is something that we love and this is something that we enjoy. With that being said, not to hold up anyone any longer. Much love to everyone here. Much love to you, Pong. Again, you are the brother from another man. And with that being said, y'all keep it live, raw, and uncut. And we'll see y'all on episode 21 of the Living Split Screen Morning Show. Y'all keep it easy. Stay blessed, and may the gods walk with y'all. Much love.
Later, guys.
Peace.